Hope so.
Let's hope so. We're going.
Welcome back. Everyone has, after that most recent endeavor, because we're doing a longer session, they've all leveled up. They're all level 4.
Yeah. Hey, yeah.
And because this is kind of the equivalent of 2 sessions, even though it's probably closer to just a session and a half, I'm going to go ahead and say everyone gets an inspiration.
Yay!
Which note how they're more excited about that than gaining a level.
Well, we'd already known that we leveled.
Yeah, I know.
That was
Oh,
the excitement of
shit.
surprise.
Surprising?
An inspiration can mean the difference between being alive and being dead.
Yeah,
so.
I know.
As after all of this,
Such a level.
as people start sifting through the chaos to figure out what happened, the heroes are allowed to take respite and rest, as they and many others are quite exhausted.
Is this a long or a short?
This is a long rest.
Oh, hell yeah.
Wounds are seen to. People, they start trying to account for everyone, find out who's missing, who's dead.
We get all of our hit points, but only half of our hit dice.
Hey, should we go back down there and collect all the goodies?
I think we have some more important things to
Okay.
figure out first.
Someone would ask you before I said, let's collect the goodies.
Let's figure out
Following day,
where the GM's going with this.
following day, you guys learn events that transpired that you were unaware of. After the call to challenge was made, they are all set out to meet with Thousand Spear. He never made it. Agents of Zarin were in place to make sure he never made it to the orcs. Which, thus, the orcs saw as ignoring their call, which forced an attack. Which forced Alyssa to open the flower, the gemstone. Which was what Zarin needed, because he could not try and wrest control of it from her unless his power was unlocked. The gemstone decimated the orc forces, which is why they routed. Even once the storm stopped, their losses were heavy, and they fled back north. Losses to Holfrost were just as severe, because the gem had gone out of control. And the orcs that had already made it into the city were not kind to the people they met there. And that is where we find the situation in the north.
So is the Jarl dead?
The Jarl is dead.
Damn it. I don't have to worry about that one.
Icecrest is leaderless.
Well, this is where I step in.
No.
Yes, stranger from another land that
I was joking.
no one knows about.
My dad would be happy. You took a city, and you're the only ruler. He's like, yeah,
No.
from heaven,
No.
or wherever it is.
No.
What?
He's they text on heaven. Heaven's lawful good.
As, yeah, detective not go to heaven.
No, he didn't.
There are other places.
He went right back to where he always vacationed.
That you don't go there when you die.
He probably went to what's the
Emporia,
Elysium?
Elysium, one of the more chaotic realms.
He went somewhere awesome. That's where he
I
went.
mean, yeah, it's still
It
an
seems
upper
pretty
realm.
cool.
So
I'm a fan.
I've seen that.
that is what has been discovered thus far.
This is where my journey ends for that. Okay.
As all of this was apparently a plan for Zarin to get his hands on the Heart of Winter, which is that gemstone.
Was that his only plan? Also, he's still alive.
He is still alive. He is a prisoner.
Did he have
I
any
cast the Zone of Truth. We are
on him?
interrogating this motherfucker.
He
There's
Any
a
notes,
problem.
parchments, symbols,
What's
Chickens.
what's on
Well,
the
we
truth?
know, but we're
What?
interrogating him.
What?
He'll know, but we're interrogating him.
No, you won't know if he's telling the truth or not. If he passes his
Yeah.
save,
that's what
No.
insight is for.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, you are wrong.
Or
Let me
apparently
pull
you're
it up
wrong.
here. No, Zone of Truth. I will know if they succeed or fail on their save.
Okay.
Yeah, it actually states that in the spell.
Okay.
I looked it up.
Okay.
It did not state that in Pathfinder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pathfinder, like.
Pathfinder
I
didn't,
remember
but-
trying to use that all the
but
time.
D&D does.
Sucked.
Yeah.
Did have 2 items on him. You're the fuck.
I wonder if she'll be ruler on default.
Melissa?
No, 'cause
I don't know.
He
never
had
looked up there.
a
Chain of commands.
Wand of the War Mage, +1. Requires attunement by a spellcaster. Rory. And a Ring of Protection.
Oh.
That's +1 to AC and saves, isn't it?
+1 to AC, +1 to saves.
Yep. That's a sweet ring.
The very next ring.
Mm-hmm.
I believe also requires attunement, but I didn't look.
Or it can benefit anybody.
Mm-hmm. We should probably give it to the people who get swollen the most.
But yes,
So you
he
know
is
what?
still alive. He is a
Okay.
prisoner.
I'm kind of blank on her, but
Oh, you do want the wands?
You want the wand?
Can you do the wand?
Can I have the ring?
I'm a spellcaster.
Because isn't that like it boosts your AC?
And saves.
Yeah, saves.
All saves and AC increased by 1.
What's your AC?
16.
So, I mean, it's,
Well, I mean, who here has a very low AC?
I have 14.
I have 14.
But you tend to be range.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, no, I
why
don't
you
need
have
it.
somebody
We don't
who
need
gets
it for range.
swollen a lot. I'm wondering why you want the wand. I know that you can cast spells, but
Because I already got the highest AC in the party.
Do you?
I'm just wondering
I have
how the
an
wand is
AC.
going to
I have an
benefit
19.
you because you don't cast offensive spells.
Okay, then because I'm
I guess that's fair too.
yeah, then I'll
Like,
go ahead.
you were
and
just telling me about how you don't plan on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the one of the War Mage is it just +1 to attack with those spells.
Okay.
I'll look.
What's your AC?
19.
Oh.
Unless I'm two-handed.
The
weapon,
Ring of
and that's
Protection
13.
does require attunement, whoever takes it.
Or
So that's one of your 3 attuned items if you have it. And the Wand of the War Mage, spellcaster only. If you hold this wand, you gain a bonus to spell attack rolls determined by its rarity, which is a +1. In addition, you may ignore half cover when making a spell attack.
if I use a one-handed weapon, my AC is 19. If I use a two-handed weapon, my AC is 16.
No,
I
you
just
don't have to
think it
activate it,
suits
it's just
anybody
on
in
you.
the party.
Right?
You have to use it.
Besides, unless you make spell attack.
Or are you talking the
I'll
ring or
let
the
you
wand?
guys figure out.
Yeah, the wand you have to actually hold.
Yeah.
If it's just in like on your belt, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And it's only with spell attack rolls too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spell attacks.
I think that might just be something that we sell.
Can get you a decent amount of money.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't think any of us. Really
Yeah. I vote that we're gonna do it. I vote that we sell.
How much is one? How many arrows
No,
can
not
I
ring,
cover
the
with
Yeah.
the one vial
The
of
ring
the
someone can use, like,
poison?
Yeah.
in my
The
hand?
ring anyone can use.
but the wands none of us
Okay.
really benefit from.
And can I milk her again? 'Cause I think I got more than one vial on there. To handle animal, correct?
But did he have any like parchments, notes,
He did
symbols? Nothing.
19.
You
So we
successfully
need to figure out
So
how
get
deep
one
this
vial each
plot
time I do
went,
it?
How much is he responsible for?
So true.
How did he have
So-
so many agents?
Exactly.
This loyal to him.
What?
Loyal enough
Do
to
you
commit
mean,
treason.
how many arrows do you have?
What?
How many arrows do you have?
30?
Can I have 10 of those?
Sure.
So, he is a
The poison,
prisoner.
huh?
If Freki would ask, currently Alyssa is in acting control. The Jarl kind of gave her control before he died.
Alright,
Yeah.
so you will have 2d4 poison damage.
So
Half of the DC
so
med is
true.
10.
So you guys,
DC 10, 2D.
he's
Yeah,
brought to a
conscious-
room.
yeah.
He's restrained
This
in
is
a
right.
chair.
That's what you get.
There are 2 guards ready to chop his head off should he start
Because
muttering
they're for
incantations,
Mhm.
as he is a
But you only get
spellcaster.
10 arrows. So you have to determine when you use them.
They remove his gag, and you may cast the spell.
I cast a spell.
I will eventually get us more as I don't want to milk her that often.
Oh, yeah.
Does he save or
What's the DC?
But that was my plan with
my DC
Sorry, my
is
Wizard's
14.
hit.
He saves on that one.
Damn. Well, I'll just wait and cast it again.
Okay, wait for. You can just use another spell slot.
Yeah, just use another spell slot.
Josh, just to let you know, he has 10 arrows that are poisonous with her venom, and so do I.
Okay.
I was letting you know that we're doing that.
If I'm not specifically proficient with poison use, am I going to run a risk of poisoning myself by using those arrows?
No, I think they got rid of
Okay.
Yeah, it's just on the tips.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just the act of poisoning it
Yeah.
would.
I poisoned it for you, that's why I
Yeah.
did it, so.
that. You're not proficient with poison.
No, I'm not, but that's why.
But I don't think it's a thing in this game. If it is, I'm not going to worry about it right now. He failed that time.
Okay. Alright, well, now he's in zone of truth. He must answer with the truth.
Okay.
84, DC 10, con half.
Do this because it's so much easier.
I wanted to make sure I did this at the beginning because I kept forgetting to put
Steal
cover
some
our
of your-
arrows with poison
some of your
to help
note
us with
cards,
damage.
Shelby.
Huh?
Steal some
Yeah.
of your note cards.
Oh,
welcome
that'll
to-
help us.
That's fine. I've gone through quite a few of them myself. Past them.
Alright. For whom do you work?
I work for no one.
What is your goal?
He remains silent.
Who grants you power?
I slap him. What is your goal?
Make an intimidation check.
What's your intimidate?
Well, intimidate is a +1. It's not great.
You need help intimidating. I'm
So
pretty
you're also-
Oh, I
intimidating.
rolled a nat 20. I
You
think
also-
I'm good.
Nice.
He promptly shits himself.
To have my patron release me.
Who's your patron?
The Queen of Air and Darkness.
Religion check.
Alright.
Modded 20.
Fey Queen of the Winter Court.
Matt?
Mistress of the Feywild. In some, she is called Mab, but her name title is the Queen of Air and Darkness.
You're acting with the queen of the
And they
Fae.
go by their titles in this world because of
Fey don't necessarily have to,
names
that's
would
gods.
actually give people power.
Oh, yeah.
Mab, that's not the case for, that's the gods.
She's a
But
fey.
most people just know her as the Queen of Air and Darkness. And in old mythology, those two people, Mab and the Queen, were not always the same person.
Mm.
That's, I think, mostly addressed in the thing.
Really?
Could be wrong, but yeah, they weren't. It's occasional, but there's records of like Mab is someone
Same.
else.
Poison until it's either
I
touched
always
or washed off.
associated them as the same person.
Mhm.
Even before Dresden Files.
Yeah, like I said, it's not uncommon, but that's anyway.
Why do you wish to break your pact with the queen of the Winter Court?
Because my time was nearly at an end.
And since I just put on the tips, we'll be fine as long as we don't touch the arrows
Are
to
you Fey?
the tips to our hands.
No, I'm mortal.
Not wishing to spend the afterlife in the Fae realm?
Not wishing to allow myself to be made into one of her dogs.
Does it want to be a grim?
Pretty much.
And you're willing to instigate a war and accrue mass civilian casualties for this?
Yes. The lives of these small people don't matter to me.
Why?
Why should they?
And the girls you raised?
Only because I knew that they had the gemstone. The dragon gave it over to them.
You say you're almost at the end of your life. You weren't when you first got into their service.
I knew it was coming.
It's always coming for a mortal. It's no excuse.
Says a nigh immortal.
says also be mortal.
There is
born dying.
no remorse in his eyes. You are getting the sense this man is just wicked to the core.
How much vengeance do I want?
Lawful evil.
Neutral. Evil.
Neutral evil.
How much is the inheritor hoping to smite?
The inheritor is furious at this man.
I'm pretty sure that the Eternal Maiden is probably
The
furious.
Eternal Maiden is also furious, but she's more saddened.
Yeah.
Is
There's
it,
no
I
love.
serve the god of justice.
I know it wasn't explicitly stated, but is
The
it
Eternal
just them
Maiden's
there?
looking at
or
the
is
god
anybody
justice
else?
Anyone
like-
could be witness.
I'll be like a fly on the wall.
Okay.
Because I didn't plan on actually like participating in the interrogation, but I might be curious.
For what purpose
You're
does your patron desire this gem?
She doesn't. I thought to give it as a gift in exchange for my freedom.
How did you come to be in the service of your patron?
Well, now I want to figure out how deep it goes. How much of this is this fall? How much of it just happened naturally?
Nearing 600 years.
How?
Part of her our pact was by extending my lifespan.
But how did you come to be in her service? What was your pact?
I pray to any being that would answer. God, Fae, or Devil. She answered first.
Why do you desire immortality? Seems a lonely existence. It's like-
Because souls are only ever destined for where they will go upon death.
Perhaps you should have thought of that while you still had a chance to correct your course.
Say your preening night, I'm not interested.
Oh no, pray away.
What is the punishment for treason in this country?
Death.
What kind? Beheading? Public hanging?
It is left to the decision of the Jarl.
I look to Melissa.
She's the one saying this.
I just continue looking at her.
I will
Here's a
do whatever
question.
you ask of me.
Didn't that letter say that he poisoned a whole bunch of orcs?
You sure did.
Sounds like they were wronged too. Don't you think that they should have a say in his punishment?
I feel we should hold a trial.
I'd say if he's been a problem to the orc for this long time, maybe handing him to them could be the first step in maybe mending a bridge
Could be.
that shouldn't have been broken in the first place.
What all have you done in your journey for this gem?
He's remaining silent.
I was hoping
I
that
slap him again.
maybe that possibility, like, hey, we might not be the ones to take
He
care of this.
obviously,
The
he
orc
obviously
might do it
values
instead.
his life. This is the only reason he's done this. So I slap him
He
again.
can't, but you're getting the sense he's kind of like, he's in that state where like, I'm gonna die.
They're gonna kill him either way.
Yeah.
So you slap him, and he. He's holding his tongue.
Speak, or I will cut your tongue out and leave you to die without words.
You're going to kill me anyway.
No sense. There's other things.
There are things worse than death.
That's my cue to leave the room.
I could poison him.
I've been through this at a game table
I like that
once. So I'm not
Freki's
gonna
the one
take part of
pulling
that
this
again.
up because she's like the worshiper of the Eternal Maiden is all about love and shit. She's like, there's things worse than death.
That's why I said it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Seen some shit in my day.
So is she.
I don't believe you have the stomach for it, priestess.
I do.
You see, I have friends.
He's kind of eyeing you.
I would.
Would your master let your leash go that far?
I don't have a master.
Of course not.
No, trust me, she doesn't. Or he doesn't control me. Because I know that you're okay with it. I'm not gonna tell him that.
Melissa also leaves the room, but she doesn't want to look at him right now.
I imagine not.
How's it go?
I don't like sizing anyways. I don't necessarily have to do it. Then my little snake goes and then pops back in.
The Jarl is left. She gave no order to kill.
She's not my master.
Here's the other thing. None
Well,
of
you're
us.
in this land. Yes, she is.
Mm-mm.
And I think you know that girl well enough to know she probably wouldn't do anything to us.
I would save her the problem.
And I have no reason to say anything, do I?
Well, you're still capable of mercy.
Be a dear and go consult Alyssa on how we should best send word to the orc tribes.
What do people think keep telling me to do stuff?
Because you keep listening.
Damn it.
We're not wrong.
So,
Lynn just
you
kinda
left the
stands
room
there for a
already.
Just kind of stands there for a second.
Out in the basically the hall beyond this room is where Alyssa, her sister Anastasia, and Shineheart are. Her other staff, their other house staff, are further in, not in the dungeon area.
I approach.
And you join the group.
Tell them that I think that their kingdom or their jarldom or whatever should know of this betrayal.
That's gonna be cool.
Yes.
But I also do think that since he had wronged the orc so badly, I do think that
I have certain things to track down.
they should have.
But you'll probably somehow be
I would not dare send messenger. They would probably be killed.
We could go.
a raven. I know a crew.
I know a crew that
A
can do
raven
this
won't
for
just
you.
go to a random camp.
You can send us.
You would deliver a message?
Can.
I mean, they know us.
Then, yes, I would.
Well, I was just saying.
Yeah.
That was a
If you will take word to the Thousand Spear, inform him of this, I would speak. At a place neutral to both parties, say the mountain pass between his land and mine.
That's where that keep was, right?
Yes.
The one that's been sieged and passed back and forth
Yes.
numerous times. It sounds like that keep.
Last time, like most recently, the orcs retook it
Right.
after just giving it up.
Yeah, that keep's gonna be halfway pretty soon.
Have we heard from Danik?
No.
Since you left
No.
her in the house. This is the next day.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even getting to Thousand Spear shouldn't take too long. Or no, it was like a 3-day trek last time, wasn't it?
No, it's
Well,
like
that was to get all the way to the creek.
yeah, that's to get all the way
Gotcha.
there. It's like 5 hours to get to the keep.
Oh, okay. So that's just like one additional day. That home that Danik is at is fully stocked, and they'll be safe there for a few days. Hey, you identified that rumor house, right?
Anastasia, yeah.
How long do you think those heat sacks are good for?
Not long unless treated.
Do you think that they're still there?
Day, possibly. Some, anyway.
Can we make an exchange then? We'll deliver your message. If you can secure the heat packs or have somebody do it.
I'll do what I can.
Appreciate it. We'll come in really handy for helping a friend of ours out.
She heads off to do that.
It's Rainbow and the
Aww.
the Yeti outfit.
Yeah.
That's the Yeti outfit.
I'll pop my head in real quick. Lainath, if you haven't started torturing yet, can I talk to you for a minute?
Thank you.
Leave me here alone.
Alright, let's make it quick.
I may have said that we can deliver a message to Thousand Spear. That message being that
If there's a traitorous bastard that's caused all of this.
and that the Lady of the Land is willing to meet with him on neutral territory to discuss his fate. The mountain pass between our two.
Do we know the Thousand Spears survived the battle?
We don't. We have zero intel.
I couldn't see why he wouldn't. To be honest.
We made it in once, and we would go in as a small band, not an army. So I suspect that they wouldn't immediately think that we were a, what's the term, reprisal force? And they might be,
Reprisal force. 5.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They would not think that we're a reprisal force. So we would actually have the opportunity to speak, especially if they're still licking their wounds.
Gross.
So, how? It's a common parlance.
It's still gross.
So, would want to do that soon. Just wanted to keep you in the know. I'll go and start making preparations. Finish up here. Okay. So I go and start prepping the sleds and all this other stuff. We did bring the sleds with us this time, right?
We brought one, yeah.
Okay.
I thought we. Okay.
You're at one sled.
Can we just ask her for the carriage?
Sure. Can the carriage make that trek? Isn't it through like rough territory?
It's a bit rough, but we can still make it.
Okay.
Yeah,
If it'll be
I'm assuming that's how they get supplies.
if it'll be faster, then I'll puff my chest out and requisition a carriage.
Okay.
Alternatively, we can just ride horses too. Maybe.
Just one idea at a time.
I'm just saying.
You guys have a sled.
Yep.
That is what you're getting.
Okay.
While I'm still in there with him, who else was involved in your plot?
The men I charmed into my service.
And who? What names?
What matter? You slew them.
All of them?
Yes.
Okay, well, is that the truth, so. Very well.
As Feypack warlocks have a lot of beguiling and charm magic.
Yeah.
Ask me who that is.
Who is this signature? I can't read it. I can't.
Thinker?
A hunter that I hired. He was under the assumption that I wished to simply poison the orcs to keep these lands safe.
Did we ask him if he killed their parents?
Not yet.
Oh yeah, I'm there. I forgot. Well, I didn't want to say it if we've already asked. Did you kill what's her name again? Alyssa's parents?
Yes, when they would not agree to the marriage, I ensured that they died so that I could forge documents needed.
Alright. What purpose did the marriage serve for you?
It would ensure that she would be at the capital when the orcs would attack.
So if we wouldn't have bring her to the
Worked with
castle,
their estate for years, why not simply steal the damn thing?
Because unless its powers were opened, I could not wrest control of it from her.
Why did you need control if you were going to give it to the Queen of Winter?
Because otherwise, she would be able to call it back.
I don't think that was really in the cards.
Yeah.
We're random mercenaries that just turned up on their doorstep. We're not gonna stop a marriage based on a bad feeling about
No. If we would have went back to the castle,
Basically, if you would have left her back at her estate.
yeah,
Gotcha.
had her
It
stay
would
there
have
while we
thrown
went.
his plan entirely.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because he did not, the one thing he did not expect
Was her to leave.
was you guys to actually take her back to her estate.
Yeah. And if we wouldn't have made it back,
He
by the
was
time
in a
the
bit of a
orcs-
panic when you guys did that.
Yeah, because if
When
they
he
would've-
found out about it.
So since the orc guy, the chieftain came to talk to the Jarl, he probably would have never killed the Jarl. Because she wasn't there to take the globe in the first place. And then the orcs would have killed him anyways.
Or his plan would have continued as it was if he wasn't able to alert his men, and then the orcs would have taken the city
Yeah.
with nothing to stop them.
So
His plan nearly went into complete chaos.
I can tell now. Things would have happened
Because
way
it wasn't-
I thought you were
wasn't
talking about the first time.
It
No,
wasn't a
no.
perfect plan, but it was. You needed things to work a specific way that they did up until you guys came in and beat the shit out of them. So you guys, does everyone head out to go and speak with the orc?
Did you get the one that was over?
No, I figured.
Wait. Would it be better if I stayed
I see the one
behind?
that's open, but I figured.
It's up to you.
Oh, you just wanted to keep pictures.
How many good people do I know that she has around the new Jarl?
She has the Jarl's Guard. She has the rest of her staff.
And I know that none of them were working for this dude.
He said basically he was.
She has Anastasia.
Yeah, she has her sister.
Okay, she's got us died on.
She has her little dragon.
The
Yeah,
dragon,
she's great.
and the other, the Stormlord guy seemed pretty on the up and up.
Alright, well, first I stop and I take a moment to talk to the little dragon because he's so fucking cute. Freki loves him. He's
You just, but
Time for magical roll transformation.
and I stop to talk to him in Draconic,
Okay.
Oh, was on the desk.
and I tell him that he's been doing a very good job so far as a little brother,
He stands all proud. And a chest coughed
and
neck.
that he has another very important job to do, and he is to watch over his sisters.
Cool.
You got that?
Higher like that.
I would laugh if it fell over and spilled all over your lap.
is it chocolate?
Yeah, chocolate artificially flavored.
Nope. Willow's over here.
It's not. I said earlier, it's not great.
So,
Never again.
Alright.
so off to the orc.
Yes.
We ride north.
We ride north to the sea of orcs. I don't know why I'm supposed to sound like that.
You
Yeah,
head to
don't
the
mind.
keep that sits in the pass of the mountains. The orc army has rallied to there. Which, now that they're all clustered together and not spread out as a line, their army is much more massive, even with their numbers greatly diminished. How do you seek to approach?
Well, weapons away.
Is there a symbol of peace? Is there a white flag
Yeah.
in this world?
You are orc expert. Do they
Yes.
have a?
Yes.
A symbol of Parliament?
As I point at Josh, and what do I need to roll?
Make an intelligence check. You do have advantage on it. That's just patting your
It's
face.
a weird way to roll dice.
Put it in your tent.
I found it. It was in my note card. I was just making sure it wasn't around me.
No, this wasn't perforated.
No, it's not.
However, I do recognize the font that they use. That's Ed Interlock.
19.
It's a very good font.
19. You basically know what to call out in Orcish to get them to not kill you.
Alright. I'm gonna
With
scream it
crossbows and javelins as you
on the
approach.
top of Kaci's ones because I'm louder than I'm pretty sure Vanessa is. But I'm not doing it out loud here.
Okay.
But you know how loud I can yell.
Okay.
I'm just letting you guys know because you know how loud I could probably be.
So Vanessa shouts out Orcish,
Yeah, I'm pretty loud.
"Get through Gaul!" Willow responds apparently.
That's what I accept your father. Oh no!
Well, that's no garbage.
Next thing you know, Lulu's attacking.
Yes. You approach. Arrows do not fly at you, nor do bolts. As you reach the camp, the orc are there. They're watching you. Several of them are injured or bloody. They've been treated, but they've been in a battle. As it does not take long for Thousand Spear himself to come out, having heard that there are those come to parley.
Oh. It is you lot again.
Yep. I can tell you why the Jarl didn't need you for one-on-one combat. He was killed.
Treason.
He was prepared to meet your demands, to meet you on the field.
Until he took a knife to the back.
We found and subdued the man responsible for it, who was also responsible for a large amount of strife within the whole Jarldom.
Do we show him the letter?
I think we should.
Freki presents it.
Takes it.
I'm
He
assuming
reads it?
that it keeps coming back to Freki's possession.
Yeah.
She's the one that found it. Well, you're there when it's done.
Yeah, I'm just gonna...
This claim is that this man poisoned our water.
Yep.
He has planned for a very long time to instigate this war.
What is the fate of this man?
We come with you. We come to you to offer a parley via the current lady of the city. She wishes to speak with you about it, as he has caused much suffering on both sides.
Hoping that perhaps with this better understanding of what caused the problems between the two civilizations,
I think we should also tell him that he killed her parents. That way, you know, there's like more at stake than just.
the knowledge that you share an enemy might help bring peace.
But yeah, tell him that the man killed her parents.
And her husband to be.
Well, she was not too sad about it. Oh yeah. Okay.
I do now.
Yeah.
Because you are not telepathic.
No. What was an arranged marriage?
Very well. I'll meet this woman.
She suggested that it occurred.
She's suggested here, but here's where all the orc are.
She would like it to happen on neutral territory between the battle lines.
Fine. Then I will travel halfway. And you can go get this lady.
She's a lady. She's a lady. Talking about.
I go alone, she comes alone. No guards.
What about us? Are we to send her alone? Or are
Yes.
Do we have your word of honor? That no harm will befall her?
I
Should
will
she
bring
bring
no
no
harm to this. To her, so long as she shows equal respect.
we should teach her a bit about orc culture? Just give her a quick crash course.
Yeah.
And we should probably, like,
We will hold you to that word.
We
We will
can't
pass
be.
along your message.
We can't be present.
No.
And at what point should we set the meeting time?
I will travel with you halfway,
And then you'll just wait.
and then I wait for 1 day.
Okay.
As he goes and he prepares a ward, loading it with fur, a cask, a couple other small parcels. Mounts the beast and comes alongside your sled, spooking your reindeer a great deal, but he is controlling his ward.
Do you have a way to send messages? Ravens, pulse.
We have our methods. They're called runners.
I'm assuming that is an actual person who runs.
Yes.
Just trying to think of a way for them to send a message to us. If we were at the castle, or at the keep, with the dude who we're trying to decide the fate of, it would be handy if they could just send us a message and we can bring him. But we'll figure it out. This, so far, is progress.
He goes with you halfway and then lets you go collect her. In the interest of expediency, she agrees. And she sets out on her own, much against her sister's wishes.
Well, I'm gonna give her a quick rundown about their culture. Obviously, what?
Because he said equal respect, she needs to know what that means.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
So I'll give her just the base, like what this kind of means, what this means. He's still half.
Don't show weakness. And
Yeah,
his
he's
other-
half human and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know what you want me to roll something to tell you
Go
how
ahead,
well
go and
my
roll
knowledge
intelligence. You'll have your advantage on it.
No clues. Figure it out. General Kang from Star Trek
is.
6.
18. So that tells you how good
Like
my information
What's
is.
Star Trek? Like, what's Shakespeare alive? He's civilized. He's also kind of a bastard.
Who are you talking about?
General Kang.
So she goes off on her own.
And we wait.
And then we play
The waiting game.
Wait. Let me get my binoculars.
While we were gone, did they manage to collect any of the Rimmer has?
She has collected 4 jugs, basically a gallon each, of Rimmerha's heat goo.
So what do we put that in to keep warm?
I'm trying to figure that out.
Probably.
Like, do we put it in like silicone bags?
We're waiting. This, do you want to put out and maybe work on something at the alchemy lab with that
Can-
stuff for alchemy?
Sounds great.
And make sure that they're alright.
Can I ask something? Maybe take a step back just a little bit so Lynn feels more safe in this situation.
What's that?
She's going. Never mind. I was
Before we
like,
leave the city-
I really wanted to cast mage armor on her, but I don't think that's a good idea.
She's a sorceress. She probably knows mage armor.
Before we leave the city, I'd like to
She's a dragon soldier. They have a boosted AC.
find a shop to buy some
Okay.
arrows.
Also, he's a paladin. He might have detect magic.
Shop is destroyed.
Mage armor isn't.
The
Mage
place to
armor
buy
is
He's wearing armor.
arrows
Yeah.
is destroyed.
The shops and all the services of the lower quarter or lower district are not
Yeah.
in service right now.
Well, I need some arrows.
The city was just under siege. It's gonna be hard to come by.
Is there any arrows laying around that are okay to use?
There's armory that the militia uses. You might be able to barter with them.
Right after a battle.
Mm-mm.
Well, they might not expect to need them soon.
They expect the orcs might come back at any
Okay.
time.
Well, then,
Also, we're here and we haven't been shy about the fact that we killed a bunch of orcs before, so maybe
Yeah.
they just get rid of them anyway because they were supposed to fight.
You can attempt to scavenge to try
Yeah,
and find
I'd rather
some
scavenge what's on the ground.
arrows. Okay, make perception.
so should just like a couple of us go back to the
Yeah.
little sports
17?
party a little bit?
Like, I'm gonna keep an eye on this guy like a fucking hawk.
You
Okay.
can find 6
He
usable
tries
arrows.
anything. I mean, they can have their own justice, their own retribution. He doesn't need to have all this Linus for that.
So Vanessa, Lainath, you'll stay here, salvage what you can, guard Baron Von Badass. Do you want to go back to the estate with me? Lynn, what do you want to do? I'm asking rather than telling.
I'm
No, she doesn't do good on her own decisions.
Oh.
That's harsh. I would prefer to stay here.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sit with tea and know my business.
Look at him, he hates me right now.
It's a dick move.
Remember who has your back.
It's a dick
Vanessa.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a dick thing to say.
There are much harsher things she could have said.
Or just not done.
Okay, do I have to have like a thing above me that says Daytax daughter? Like
I'm
always
handling
screaming
it,
across?
okay?
I say that doesn't give you an excuse.
No.
No,
she
but I
uses
will.
it a lot.
But I will pay for someone to tattoo it across your face.
Yeah, the people will know.
So let's go back to the estate and let these two bicker.
It's better than
Okay.
sulking, Silas.
Oh. Okay, we'll talk about this later.
You two are going to need to work out your issues.
Okay.
We're gonna
You
have to
two
have
head
a
back to the
bonding
estates.
exercise.
You're
Trust
staying.
falls.
You're staying guarding the prisoner.
Hell yeah.
You're scavenging arrows, which is going to take a while.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay with Lainath.
Okay, and so you're also guarding. So, nothing really interesting will happen there unless you wish to question him further.
I'm just. He tries anything.
They've re-gagged him.
If
Since
he
questioning was
sneezes,
over.
funny. I'm gonna hit him.
You're dead. And then bring you back to life. Play on heads. And then
You
step.
do. I will say you do get an odd sense of him when you kind of peek into the chamber she's being kept in, the cell. Shadows seem a bit darker. The temperature is just a little bit colder.
Air in darkness.
Packed shit. Is there fire in there?
There's a torch. Not in there, but shining light in there.
Could we ask for one of the to bring a like a brazier into that area?
They'll bring light, but they're not putting anything in the cell with them.
Okay.
Sitting near the furnace.
It doesn't really do anything with it. You guys return to the estate. In your arrival, Danik is
dead.
there.
And
As she's
See
normal.
that?
and the
She's-
Yuan-Ti is hibernating
She's kind of
again.
trying to keep tabs on the child, just because he keeps wandering about. Kind of like a lost puppy, and she's trying to just like,
This is the first time that Freki's met this kid.
keep an eye on him. Yeah, it's a boy. Maybe 16, 17,
So he's not that much older than my daughter.
scrawny as hell. Black hair comes down to basically his ass. And his hands burned halfway to the elbow.
Oh Jesus.
Severe burns that look very old, that have basically destroyed his use of his hands. Even like holding even a cup, he has to like.
Yeah.
I won't stop you from like inspecting them, but I will tell you before you put any resources into it that I don't think that can be healed.
She'll still try. Like, is Freki. That's what she's gonna do.
If you wish to burn the spell slot, you can attempt to heal them.
Yeah, I burn spell slot.
It's, the energy like tries, but it can't actually. There's some form of magic over his hands that prevents healing. Some dark power.
What way? Let's see. What would I roll as an intelligence check to? Would that be investigation or medicine?
What do you want to learn?
I want to learn what the fuck is going on with this.
Arcana.
Alright. I rolled a nat 1.
You don't know. You know it's magic, but you
Yeah.
don't know what this could be.
Huh.
I'm glad you're here. Not only to help me with him, I need a leash.
I tried putting one on him, but he just ate it.
No.
What?
Someone else showed up looking for you. I didn't know what to do.
Specifically, or the whole cadre?
You, Silas.
Oh shit, boy.
That's why I found it odd. She mentioned you by name.
Nobody does that.
Nobody does that.
I forget your character's last name.
Unless I'm about to get arrested. Thornkin.
Yes, Silas Thornkin.
I've fallen in love with the way Westeros treats its bastards.
That's a
So
really-
that's a bastard name.
It's a really good aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, he's a bastard to like elven nobility in a forest.
Why I kind of always wish that fucking Gabe's character had been a bastard. Because his last name was Grey and he was from the Black Empire.
No.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, that would make such a good bastard name for that area.
It would. Or white.
That's when you know you're proper.
Grey's,
So-
Grey's
so
the bastard
where
name.
did they
White
go
is the
from
right
here?
proper
Did-
bastard.
She's in the study.
Oh.
Perhaps you should go and deal with that while I deal with this child.
Okay, you look after the child. How's Ashna?
Conscious and able to roam about a bit.
Okay, so she's good on her
Still
own.
stiff and groggy, but she's functioning.
Well, I got some stuff that might help her actually be functional in a fight.
Good.
And I gesture to the 4 jugs that are probably almost glowing with heat.
It's radiating off of them.
Um,
Because they've had an additive put in them that will keep them, which is what they need.
I've been told that it's called Brimmer has heat goo.
I don't know what that is, but
He starts selling it like a fucking salve. River has heat goo.
I wouldn't
for all
recommend
the-
it.
Yeah. Don't,
That
You'll
was
never
not
be
spindle
cold
ball.
again.
Figure it
don't
out.
judge it directly. The stuff is molten hot. The stuff's worse than molten nylon.
Meanwhile,
Fire cannot kill
Meanwhile,
a dragon.
meanwhile, the child is looking at the goo like,
I will say, actually, you can roll medicine on the child.
In fact, now I kind of
Ah,
imagine it is a
hello?
lot like molten nylon.
stop scratching the couch.
Have you ever had that land on your flesh?
Sucks.
Oh my god.
Well, not nylon, but I've had some 3D printer fun that definitely ended badly.
Okay, anyway, I can roll medicine.
Medicine, because you did examine his hands.
Because I rolled a 19
This
for that
was
one.
I was burning the end of a rope and had
that
it
would
drip
be
onto me in its molten state.
A
Oh my god.
19 plus 5, 14.
That
24?
blister
24,
lasted a
yeah.
long time.
Well, you can tell the cause of the wounds as you recognize some of the markings. It basically looks like at some point this boy was wearing gauntlets that became forge level hot and were then torn from his hands,
Oh god, it
taking the first many levels of skin with them.
Oh Jesus Christ! I'm glad that he doesn't have skeleton hands.
He almost does.
Yeah,
It's
this is the muscle
The most
sear.
there is a
appropriate use of that
distinct
term.
dip
is.
in his arm from where the skin is still how it should be on a healthy arm versus what he has.
Yeah,
It's like the only word
like
that
it took
really
off a
solicits
layer of
like
muscle,
a physical
too.
reaction from me.
he probably has severe nerve damage. Like
Very,
That doesn't
very
bother me at all.
gross.
No, so that is what you discern. You're going to see about your little guess.
Yeah.
She tells you where to go. As peeking around from the chair is a golden-haired Eladrin girl that you remember from your dream.
I know you, I walked with you once.
You know, I came this close to getting a dream.
She's wearing
So-
a forest green tunic with white furs providing warmth and a long cloak. Some of her adornments appear armored, but she's not wearing any excessive amount of armor, the equivalent of leathers.
Gotcha.
There's a rapier at her hip, and a large satchel she's wearing on the other side. Several adornments, earrings, kind of circlet, necklaces.
Do me a favor and say anything.
Hi.
Awesome! I can actually hear you.
I was waiting for you to say anything.
And I can hear you. Good, this is much better than last time.
Wait, that was the thing? Because I'm just bullshitting right now because I had a dream that was really weird.
Yes. We spoke in the forest.
Yeah, I thought that was just a fever dream for being next to death. Okay, so something's up.
Oh, I did not realize you were that. I was trying to send a dreaming spell.
Okay. Oh, hi, I'm Silas, and you are?
Tell Analis.
Tell Analis.
Call me Tella.
Tell her. Okay. You've come a very long way, Tella.
I have.
Tell me a secret.
Oh my god. Pay no attention to Lainath is not here.
This is not here. This is not a character jokes. Stand there with Lindsay and like, I'm gonna beat up this
Came because I wished to meet you, and I was told how to find you. I also have...
Sorry, I have many questions. I'll wait.
Sorry, father.
Okay. He's alive.
Okay,
I
what I
suppose
got
that's
from that was
good.
time to eat my eyeballs.
Yes.
I wasn't sure last time we parted ways.
Yes, he's alive. I have been acting as scout for him for several years, and decided to take this opportunity as he needed a message conveyed to meet my half-brother.
I was just really excited for you.
Oh,
You got a sister. That's cool.
Your sister from another mister.
They're from the same mister, different mother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different mom. She is a full Eladrin,
right.
by the way.
Well,
Well, he is her brother from another mother. There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
these are strange times.
She comes up and hugs, unless you back away from
I
it.
don't back away from it, but I'm still kind of like,
You're standing there like the
It's the awkward, like,
pat.
yeah, she gets the 2 pets, but I'm still, sorry, it's been a very strange week.
I'm sure.
How did our father know how to find me?
Scrying.
That makes sense. Why didn't I just think of that first?
I don't know.
Okay, well,
Hashtag shock.
we've
Sorry, I'm in my spring season right now, so I'm a bit energetic.
it's fine. I'm in my try not to panic season. Not because of this, but because of everything else.
Oh, right.
This is honestly the most pleasant thing that's happened in like the last 2 weeks. So you're doing good. What news from the front? I've got no small talk prepared.
No news to convey from the front. I was sent because
Dad's having a birthday party.
it's, well, you're here and Sanctuary is not.
No, we've been trying to find it.
Well, I have good news. And probably bad news.
The good news is that you found it. The bad news is where it is.
Yes.
Go on.
It's in 3 places at once.
Okay.
Magic.
Hmm.
We found it trapped in some sort of magical anomaly that is connecting it to three of the realms.
Which ones?
It's creating a bridge on the astral sea that is connecting it to the Feywild and the Shadowfell.
So none of it is actually in the prime material.
No.
And even bringing it back from the astral sea will take literally no one knows how long. From what I understand about... Do I even understand that much about planar travel?
Oh.
Should I roll an Arcana check?
Sure.
I would ask what happened to Vol.
I don't think she would even know who he is, but I might bring it up. I'm also trying not to let everyone know that this is an
Well, no, but
infantile form of the most powerful mage in the world.
maybe she could fix his hands.
Nobody can fix his hands.
Yeah,
He would have had
that's
those
been
fixed a
thing for
long time ago.
You remember Eliwick, the gnome priestess? She
Yeah.
couldn't fix it.
This is a dude that has solved God's problems.
He still can't catch these hands.
Just because it's a terrible idea.
I got a 10 on my arcana.
You don't know what this could mean, or
Okay.
I just want to throw this out there.
Kill you.
Have you ever tried cutting them off and regenerating them?
it's a curse.
Oh,
They
Jesus.
would probably return.
I imagine somebody did try that once.
that would
Only once.
be still horrific.
He'd go through it.
That sounds like a Joram thing.
Yeah.
Like, Vol's the kind of dude that will go through any level of pain if it improves the situation.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like him and Joram came up with this plan at some point.
Ellie, we need you to bear with us on this.
He might have been involved.
Okay.
He had the axe.
Peggy had the axe.
They're like, no,
But it
well,
was
let's
Joram's
go. No, wait,
idea.
I want to see where they're going with this.
So,
So,
Father sought to
It's true.
find any members of the your order and seek them out. We attempted to contact the leaders, but were unable to find them, so we looked for you and found you.
I'm really glad you have. This is the first. After our last lead died, this is the only lead we've got.
We don't, unfortunately, how to actually get to it is trick. We're not sure, but
How did you find out that it was there?
a rip appeared in the sky when it showed up.
And have people been able to access it through the tear?
None have come back from it.
Now I'm imagining a Minas Grande trying to climb through it.
We are kind of worried about something like that, but I don't know what the Minos Grande is.
Wait, so it's
It's a weak joke. It's okay.
I know what a Minos Grande is.
No.
I watched Bleach.
no, just so it's straddling those three.
The Astral Sea is
Layers.
is making a bridge to the Shadowfell and the Feywild that it's sitting in.
Right.
So it's technically in 3 places at once.
None of which are actually the prime material, but there is now a tear above where?
It's in the Feywilds.
Okay, so you have to get to the Feywilds and then you can get to the...
the tear, yes.
My guess is wiggly wobbly, timey-wimey.
Well, that's anytime you involve the Astral Sea.
Yes.
Or the Feywild, or the
Feywild.
Shadowfell,
Or all three.
or all 3.
They're just totally fucked.
Has anybody... You said that nobody has actually been able to get to the city yet.
Only a few have tried.
Okay. We don't know where our leaders are. We've been just doing our best so far. Right now,
It's very cold here.
it is freezing.
Freezing.
But let's see, Denik has shown you the fire.
Yes.
Um,
And lovely books.
spent all my time in the lab. We
Oh,
are.
you're an alchemist.
Yeah.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
Sorry, Spring Court.
No, it's cool. I'm glad someone's excited. It's great. We've got something cooking right now that hopefully will help us travel. Because it's going to be to help keep people warm. We were going to head south, I think, once our local issues have resolved. Because we still have 3 members of our unit up north a few hours in the nearest city. And yeah, we were, I think, going to travel south until we found another lead. Now we know that we need to travel to another plane. Do you know how to get there?
I was hoping your order could.
You're looking at it.
Oh. Well, you know any Fey crossings?
Nah.
Well, that might be tricky then. Oh gods, I've stranded myself here.
That was a 19.
Oh god.
That was a 19 on Arcana, by the way.
There was a Fey crossing near to Evermore.
Yeah, there. From what I remember of the stories, there was a Fey crossing near Evermore, which is thousands of miles away.
It was in the maze. There.
And she's getting this look like you're realizing she may not have thought through everything.
She didn't take this plan completely.
She hopped she borrowed a teleport or a planar travel to get here without a way.
Yep.
She bought a one-way ticket, thinking there'd be another one-way ticket here.
There's a demon-pacted rogue vamping about with a helm of teleportation. If we just see him and stab him quick enough,
we would
maybe
all
we can
die
take it
because
from
he's like level 14. And also a champion. And also can summon a pit feet.
I'm pretty sure he's easily distractible though.
So,
He's always talking about where all these cats come from.
oops.
We just throw some cats.
Well, welcome to the group.
She just kind of smiles nervously.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
The order is called the Song of Salvation,
That was it, yes.
and the unit that you're now attached to is highly dysfunctional until a fight starts.
They were the most functional.
I'm not sure what that means, but I'm interested to
We
find out.
argue an awful lot.
Oh, that's upsetting.
Eh.
Friends shouldn't argue.
Friends is a strong word.
A,
Come, we're
A, friends is a strong word. B, the friends that you can argue with are usually the best friends you got.
It's just one of the situations. I know him. He's a friend from work. Smash.
I'm going to assume that's a human saying.
Now, one should always value a friendship that can survive an argument.
That makes sense.
So it's been a pleasure. I don't know how to do this. I've never met an actual family member before, aside from my father and mother. Whatever, I'm stumbling over my words. I've got work to do in the lab.
Bye. Peace out.
I guess you're welcome to come and watch. Or do you have skill in alchemy? You seem pretty excited by it. I don't know if that was just the spring talking.
I have some alchemy knowledge.
Awesome! You can give me advantage on my checks.
Sure.
Yeah!
Let's just hope none of my family shows up.
As you head down into
Wait a minute. Your aunt is pretty cool. Well, this.
I meant like a sibling.
Oh.
That would probably be bad.
Well, do you have a sibling?
I don't know. Do you think an incubus fucked more people than my mother? Probably.
It is
Nah.
kind of what he did.
I was gonna say he just really liked your mom.
Let's be fair, he did actually have a weird obsession with her, and did tell her to her face that she was the only person he'd ever fucked that he didn't kill.
Yes.
So, you know, I might not have any siblings. I could be able to
Yeah.
do it.
Also, I imagine that demons are usually sterile and that it took magic in order to make you happen.
Oh, you're special.
Because
snowflake.
demons were not born.
Yeah.
So I imagine they can't normally
Oh,
bear children,
God,
but
you
instead
are
have
a
these
special little
So-
snowflake.
I did make a special snowflake. That was me.
So yeah, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people stay warm. I've got this idea that uses this magical hot goo that we get out of a very large centipede-like creature.
She's like,
Oh, okay.
What would be cool is if we could somehow make a suit that would allow the goo to run through lines in the suit to keep somebody's body warm in this tundra.
We would like to have EL wired.
That's complex.
Well, I mean, something simpler would be nice too, even if it's just a heat packet that can keep somebody's core warm. But, you know, depends on what we have time and supplies for, because I didn't exactly ask for any of this stuff. I'm just taking it because there's nobody here to challenge me.
well, the thing is, if you make a suit, then they could actually fight with you.
Yeah, I just wouldn't want it to get pierced. Yeah.
Oh my god! It becomes a suit of armor with heat damage on strike. Holy shit!
Just where the river ends.
Yeah,
If you puncture a hole, you just end up hurting somebody.
Where?
we're just like
Where the river ends.
where
What?
Here's an glass vials and a bandolier that they just wear across their cord.
They would
Little glass vial?
Little glass vial.
Little glass vials and like a bandolier.
Does it go into the gun like a battery?
Well, then you can throw it and then you get hot sticky goo all over it.
Ooh.
It's too full.
You're gonna throw hot sticky goo all over the floor.
Yeah.
Oh no!
You said it.
Lynn's not, so that was mine.
Why am I all sticky? Did I miss something fun?
Phrasing, Lana.
So many references.
Shoot your goo, my dude.
Oh god!
Good that. It's my favorite.
I
It's
mean,
my favorite.
how much time do we have?
Until Lainath gets back.
That was Game Grumps.
How long is that, and who's Lainath?
Uh,
I think it's from Game Grumps.
Lainath is our little party leader. I mean, he's also there with Lynn and Vanessa. They're also members of our group.
Oh,
I can find that I didn't show it to you.
I've seen her, but I was just like,
Don't
that was from-
be alarmed by their appearances. Both Lynn and Vanessa are blonde.
okay.
You just tell her they're both blonde?
I said, you know, that Lainath, Lynn, and Vanessa are both still at the city, and don't be shocked by their appearances, because both of them are blonde.
No,
Oh.
I'm not. Hashtag no, I'm not.
You drew a picture with blonde hair.
You
It's
did.
red hair.
No, it's blonde.
That's blonde.
She's
Hashtag no,
confused.
I'm not.
And she just like looks at her own hair. Just
She's also blonde.
I was just saying, don't be alarmed by their
Yeah.
appearances, and drew attention to a mundane fact rather than.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You weren't being racist.
So I had some time creating an amulet or something to ward off the cold might be more efficient.
yeah, okay.
Are you okay?
It would take several weeks, but
Oh, yeah, we don't have that much time.
so she will work with you as much as she
It's a
can.
blondish red.
It's barely even strawberry.
That's not true.
It's strawberry.
It's orange.
If you white balanced it to the background,
I see both.
I
see
did-
both.
I did
It's
that.
orange.
I did it
Yeah.
purposely.
So
Sepia
It's like
background.
natural red.
you guys work. You work with your sister on
Aww.
alchemy stuff.
Aww.
so what's life like for you?
It's exciting.
She goes into the Natalie Portman rap.
Oh, that is.
Oh my god, there's even a part 2 that just came out. I'll show it to you later.
Okay.
It's from SNL, Lonely Island.
I have a new game that's called Conversation Party.
Also exciting over here. Lots of fighting to free people and the like.
Yes, Father said that's what you did.
On our good days. Lately, it's been trying not to get eaten by demons and then falling from the sky, and then trying not to get eaten by everything else.
It all comes back to food a lot.
Back north from here, in the city. Do you guys still watch? Alyssa does return from her meeting with the orc,
We're getting married.
as she brings with her an axe, a large great axe.
Uh-oh. She won in battle. She now owns the orc army.
My army now.
As the condition is, he is sentenced to death using this axe. And then his people will be allowed to hunt for food in the northern sections of the lands until the northern flatlands restore themselves.
It seems you've reached quite a good agreement.
Those who follow him, as he says, they are uncontrollable. Doing this and then allowing them to return to their homelands is the best we can do. Could someone take this, please? This is very heavy.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Just like to collect. What happens?
So she killed the orc guy?
No.
Oh no wait. The bad guy. The
Yes.
butler.
Yes.
Not
He
dead
is,
yet.
he is to die with that axe, is the agreement.
Justice.
And then the axe is to go back to the orcs.
Dead ass.
Justice. Justice.
Basically, you get to kill him, but we get the axe.
I actually assume that she's gonna have one of their people do it.
Yeah. 'Cause she,
I thought you were gonna nominate yourself.
she begins
I mean, I'll do it.
she begins arranging for an execution.
But I figured they have people for that. And
Could,
it's actually a lot more personal to them. Just,
Just
Or just facilitated.
I would actually just kind of just make the suggestion to her is maybe to not make that a public spectacle and try as hard as you can just to erase his existence from your histories.
That's not our way.
I know it's probably not, but what he sought more than anything else was immortality, and in a way that would be exactly what you were giving him.
If that is the kind of
That's
immortality
his
he
story.
wants, he can have it.
This is also a warning to other people. What happens when you try to fuck with us?
As for you and your companions, I'm very grateful for what you've done. I don't really know how I can reward you for such.
well, several of them are still bunkered down in your estate. The shelter is nice.
Having the truth be outed might also help the local citizenry attach a lot of this hatred to him rather than the work.
Mm-hmm.
Since it was his machinations that caused everything to happen in the first place, it can help dull what would otherwise be a very severe enmity that would last generations.
Do you know where you will be going from here?
South, I think. No offense, but I believe we need to find warmer climates.
Yes, I understand.
They're not the best suited for this sort of environment.
I may be able to expedite that in a small way. Offer travel.
That would be greatly appreciated.
It will take a few days to arrange,
Of course.
as she then will go and deal with more of the preparations for this ceremonial beheading.
That would give whoever actually
One of her guards will take the axe.
was heavy.
Before Lena's like, oops, it fell.
We find out that it's actually
Oh no!
it's a 9-life stealer,
Oh. We need that extra.
and they're gonna take his soul.
We need that.
Can you imagine her carrying it?
She would also, actually you're not there, never mind. She will basically say everyone is welcome to stay in her estate. She will return there as soon as she is able. And once they figure out what they're doing here,
Alright.
inviting everyone to go there too.
Yes, need to reconvene with the rest. Let them know that travel arrangements will be being made.
Alright.
Let's go away, Vanessa.
As the two of you head to the estate to meet up with the rest. Right, great. Sorry, I thought you were already there.
No, remember I was looking for her.
That's right, that's right. So, the three of you return to the Kudakova estate. Along with a couple of the house staff who are they're not needed here, especially now that they're still wedding. So, they don't have to worry about that. Which they're grateful for, but they didn't want it put off that way.
Right? They're like, that's not exactly how I like it around. Then when I'm dead, I just didn't think the wedding was pretty good.
So,
Alright.
Guys,
Cedric, how you doing?
good.
Yes?
I have a sister.
Well, you have a what?
Sister.
You have a
She
how,
pokes her head up. Hi!
who are you?
The sister.
How do you know?
Tell Alice,
She just showed up and said she's your sister. That was good enough.
Kinda, yeah.
Thought you were the suspicious one.
Meanwhile, Freky's just like, what do I do with this child?
Oh. You getting in trouble?
No, actually.
he's
I
pretty,
imagine they're actually getting along
he's
very
pretty
well.
calm.
Yeah.
Like, every once in a while he just wanders
To be
off.
fair, she does know a lot about.
You like someone who's done any amount of research on the person that would want to track down?
Why you gotta be this way?
Because you're supposed to be the suspicious
Let me have
one.
nice things, Lainath.
When you aren't the suspicious one, I get worried.
Freky's like, you know what? They can deal with their own things. Hey kid, let's go get something to eat.
Let's go get some ice cream.
Let's go get some ice cream. You
So
like ice cream?
he follows. Like, you've gotten the sense by now, this child has no comprehension of language.
Okay. So it's all just like motion based. I'm just like, yeah, let's go get some ice cream.
I mean, how would you bet?
I feel like if someone ever showed up and claimed to be my sibling, there would probably be some sort of fight to death involved. Or something.
Well, I mean, that's. Yeah, but I'm not.
Lynn looks at Silas. Looks at Tella. Looks at Silas again. And she's just like,
Yep, this
nah, I don't see it.
I imagine that Lynn says that, but there's like actually very obvious.
Like,
You can tell.
It's like terribly obvious.
So you are
Yeah, go and look at her name. Tell Alice,
Alice.
we share a father.
Who is this?
Oh,
You're snake
well, I guess
Oh,
wouldn't be mother.
I
No.
couldn't
Looking
remember
at you.
what she looked like.
I gotcha. I saw the
You
map.
just finished it.
Oh, how'd you get here?
I had a thing I was working.
I traveled between the bounds of this world and the Feywild.
You came directly from the Feywild.
Yes. It's very cold here. I was not prepared for that.
None of us were. Not a single one.
Father wished me to find him as your city was found, and we could not get in touch with any of the leaders of your order.
Father was dead.
It wasn't confirmed. I thought the same thing too. But that's what happens when you don't hear anything from somebody for 20 years. I made that number off of the top.
No, that's fine. She's one of those, like, look at her, because to her 20 years is nothing.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Okay. I was also making that number, like, just saying that to make sure that Josh hadn't come up
No,
with
it's fine.
something canon beforehand.
No, it's fine.
So he lives
Yes. He is alive.
and has decided to take interest now.
He has had interest, but his own interests lie elsewhere. He's been following the escapades of the Order for some time.
Interesting.
The conflicts that our people have with the Dark Giants are pressing, however. Fomorians. Cursed ones.
They're a lot like Titans. In that they're, like, comically ancient and comically evil.
I don't want to talk about Titans.
They're not Titans.
It's good. I hate Titans.
They're worse.
Just from over.
Oh. Tell him what the city is.
Oh,
You know where the city is.
yes, that's why I came.
That's good.
It's stuck in 3 places at once.
That was great.
That's bad.
What 3 places?
It is trapped on the astral sea, forming a bridge between the Feywild and the Shadowfell.
You've got to be kidding me.
And you have a way of getting to the Feywild?
I mean, you came from there.
No, I thought.
What?
I have an idea. I don't know if it'll work, but I have an idea. That's just not thought about it. Josh, you'll remember probably from the little story that I wrote about the gates that would be on the front lines that people could take to get into the city from, like, you know, pretty much anywhere in the prime material. We just basically set up like mobile teleportation circles.
or whatever it was called. What if we found one of those doors, one of those gates?
Maybe those aren't meant to cross planar boundaries.
They aren't, but with a little bit of magical assistance.
I know where we could find an entrance to the Feywild.
No, you see, I was
The maze.
told your order
Oh,
was
yeah, I already mentioned that.
incredibly powerful and influential. So while I used the planar traveling scroll to get here,
You didn't think through the fact that if the city is stuck there, that potentially most or all of the order would be on it as well.
an oversight.
Are you now convinced that we're family?
Yes. Yes, I am entirely.
I'm blaming it on being in my spring season.
Don't even know what is that.
It's an Eladrin thing.
Of course it is.
We could go to Evermore. And
That is thousands of miles from here. Alyssa has offered to arrange travels to help us reach further south. I don't think she's going to help us get all the way to Evermore.
South will be progress.
Maybe she potentially knows someone who may know where Fegate lies.
Possible.
Perhaps Anna does. And rangers find things all the time in the forest, right?
Can I make an Arcana check
Sometimes.
maybe to figure out whether or not one of those?
Oh, I
doors
bet
would
I
be
know
able to
who
take
knows
us
where
to
the
city?
fuck a Fegate is.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like,
Shit.
well, we have time to get back there before the execution, maybe.
I got
Yes,
a
no reason
natural
to
one,
tell us.
Josh.
There's no
You
reason to tell us.
do not think it would work. Sorry, what is
oh, I was just like,
We were talking about the one guy who knows.
One
Well,
guy
yeah.
would probably know where a fucking Fegate is.
Was-
The fucking guy who pacted with the Queen of Air
Oh,
and
yeah.
Darkness.
Oh yeah.
hashtag complications.
He might know. It is quite possible.
Yeah, I mean, read minds.
Myself?
Yes.
You sent a
She-
dream communication.
She pulls open her satchel and pulls out something around like this and starts just. Yes. Yeah, I do
Are
have.
you a wizard?
Yes.
That is insanely useful.
I'm a blade.
Right now.
I'm a blade singer.
Even more useful.
Calm down.
We need to, if we're going
We
to.
can read his mind. We can find a gate to potentially get us to the Feywild.
I know, isn't it awesome?
Yeah, but we need to do it first before he's executed.
That will take time with the fair. We could probably get back to the city at some point.
Do you have to actually be at the city? You sent a dream to me over a planar boundary.
A dreaming spell is far different.
Oh, okay.
Also, I had help with that one.
Oh.
That's not within my own power alone yet.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I could communicate to you via dream, and I wouldn't, I wanted to meet you, but I wouldn't have actually had to come here. And then that didn't work because you couldn't hear me, and I couldn't hear you.
Was that weird dream? you
It
told me about?
totally is. That is a really weird way to introduce yourself, but whatever.
Well, I guess your dream did mean something.
Is it?
Oh, to us anyway. And maybe it's a
Oh,
cultural thing. I
I'm
don't know.
sorry.
And
I didn't want to be
That
weird.
you thought
I
she
just
was
thought it
pretty.
was a weird dream.
And you thought she was pretty.
Shut up! It's not okay anymore.
Just cross the line. It's no longer
Look at
okay.
Look at the thin little one.
Is there? No.
Yeah.
I would hope so. Another 12 packs a day.
Oh jeez.
I'm gonna be really sad.
I have one of the takey things of the strawberry bread.
I know I'm on my. I have gone through one peach and I'm on my second green.
Thank you, Kaci. Not sponsored. Yay, Lipton tea. No, I need to be close to the subject to read their thoughts.
Do you have any compunctions with doing such a thing?
No.
Great.
Should I? Is that not a thing here?
Sometimes it can be seen as a violation of privacy and or freedom of will in which to speak. This man has forfeited all of his rights.
Okay.
We deal with really serious shit.
He has committed treason and instigated a war. He is officially a war criminal.
Oh. You will have to tell me what this has been.
What?
This, whatever you've been doing here. Apparently it involves war criminals and war and treason.
Yeah, and mostly trying not to get caught up inside of all of it and killed.
and failing horribly.
Well, we're
We
still alive.
succeeded greatly at the not getting killed part.
At
Exactly.
everything else. 2/3 of those things we
What?
failed at miserably.
We recently introduced leaders of the orc tribes and the human. Well, they're not really tribes, but whatever. It was a leader.
What was that about not getting involved in things?
And nobody is going to have our names
Also,
down.
hi. You haven't talked.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. I've been preoccupied babysitting this 16-year-old boy who keeps wandering away.
If you need, I can take over.
Okay.
I just kind of assumed you've been doing that
Frekies.
for like 8 hours and might want a break.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's 16. He's not like her 12-year-old daughter who she.
He's
basically-
acting like an infant.
Yeah. Like, he's probably clinging to Freki's fucking robes when she walks.
A bit, yes.
Because she is definitely a mother figure. Like, that's just who she is. Yes, hi. I'm Freki. I'm
I'm
native.
Tella.
Nice to meet you, Tella. I'm native to these parts. And,
You are? How do you deal with the cold?
we mostly bundle up.
I'm trying.
Kill a Yeti. Helps a lot.
From downtown.
I feel like kill a Yeti helps a lot. So she's like, okay, I go out and kill a Yeti, and then what do I do?
Yes. Alright. Kill a Yeti. First thing, what's a Yeti?
What I'm wearing.
Got it.
So she takes your cloak off and stabs it a few times, and she's like, okay,
I'm very upset.
okay, now what?
No.
Meanwhile, Lynn is laughing hysterically.
So. What do you guys do? What is your next move?
Actually, we have your sister. That's still weird to say.
That's weird. I'm just on autopilot now.
Sorry.
For the third time.
Right,
today.
Completely unaware he had any siblings.
Freckie's just gotten to the point where she just accepts everything.
Father never mentioned me. I know you've only spoken with him a few times, but...
Nope.
Oh. Huh. Thanks, Dad.
Well, I'll put it this way. What's your last name?
Did your father have a last name?
Well, he was some sort of nobility, but like I said, my last name is because I was a bastard.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. I don't know if you'd given him.
I haven't given him a first name.
Well, in the common tongue, it's Starbearer.
Yeah. Not mine. They weren't looking very kindly on half-breeds.
I'm sorry.
It's life.
It's good for character.
So am I to understand that for the third time today we're going to be making the trek to Icecrest?
It's
I
like-
want the city back or don't you?
It's like those days when you just have to keep going to Walmart because you always forget
Oh my
one
God.
thing.
And it's always vitally important.
Or I forget. I don't remember if it was you or if it was one of my older friends who left their cell phone in Champagne after we went to Champagne, came home, and then he realized he left it at the
I
restaurant.
don't think it was me.
Yeah, because we were all the way we were in Kansas.
Oh, God.
That's
It's-
awful.
It's only an extra 20 minutes from.
Both ways. That's an extra 40
Yeah.
minutes round trip.
I'm saying it's not that much further than Charleston, but
But still.
it sucks. So, you guys can either do that today, you'll get there a little after nightfall, or you can wait until morning.
I would think we should do it with the most expediency.
I agree.
Is the lady of the house still there? Because we'll probably have to speak with her before we speak to the prisoner.
Alyssa's still at the keep, yes. They need to get their
What's your fly speed?
leadership situation sorted. Same as what I want to speak currently. You know, if I just start being evil. That's all I gotta do. I just gotta start getting evil. I gotta get all sorts of cool demon powers. Probably.
Probably.
Just
So,
lose all of my paladin
Is
powers.
everyone going, or only some of you?
I think we're all going.
I can stay and keep working on
That's
the
probably
heat
a good idea.
concoction.
Okay. So you'll stay, Danik, and I keep forgetting her name. Ashna will stay. Of course, Ashna will stay. She's like, go out there. No.
We don't want to make a trick. We don't have to.
I'm gonna do
You
it.
stay with Sulky Silas.
I think you
I'm
just.
not sulking anymore.
You found,
I'm
you
still
found
mad,
your
but I'm not
sister.
sulking. That's
I think you just answered your own question.
As you guys, those who go,
I'm coming.
head back to the city. It doesn't take much for you guys to get an audience with Alyssa. She's busy, but she still stops to see what you need. Since you left and have now come back, it's like, is everything all right?
Last time we did this, shit was
Also, you've gained an elf.
yes, an elf who may potentially be able to get more out of the prisoner.
Tell us, like, excuse me.
Tell it very cheerily, like, hi.
Her name's Tella.
Tell us, like, excuse me, I'm not an elf.
She is. The Eladrin's a breed of elf.
Okay. I thought it was something like.
Eladrin are elves from the Feywild.
Okay.
The same way that Shadar Kai are elves from the Shadowfell.
Okay. That makes
They used to be human, but now they're elf. But they're actually really awesome, so I don't care.
Winston,
So,
did you tell?
she talks and she admits, surprised to see you back, but yeah, go ahead. The people are watching him still.
Ooh. Freki, the first thing that she does when she gets in that room is cast Zone of Truth again, so that he thinks that that's all that's going on.
Okay. So what do you want me exactly to find?
If he makes any knowledge of any fey portals, get into the fey
Fey gates. Very well.
He's having trouble with his
If
face.
you find anything else in there,
Alright.
just be careful. He is pacted with one of the fey queens.
Which one?
There in darkness.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, can I have a ring?
I figured it'd be a good warning to
The what?
give her.
The ring. Do we have a card for that?
We don't have a card for that.
No, I didn't make a card, sorry.
What was that?
Ring of protection.
Ring of Protection. I didn't make a card because it was just, they could identify it for you.
Okay.
I didn't worry about it. So you guys go in. Freki, you cast your Zone of Truth. There's D20.
See if he makes a save.
Roll, not just fall.
Against a 14.
He has a really good charisma save, but he rolled a 7.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but he has failed.
Alright. And I asked, how did you proceed with the dealings with your Kingdom Mary Darkness?
She answered my call and we made a pact.
Did she ever ask you to do anything specific for her?
I was to become hers when my time was over.
Just went
That is the extent of it. As Tella behind him works her spell, but she does turn because she's incanting
Yeah.
to see what she's doing, but it doesn't stop her. The spell is cast. I hear his surface thoughts now. I can pry deeper to gain an answer, but that will break the spell.
Have you ever been to the Feywild?
He hasn't.
Would you know how to get there?
He does not.
Could you ask your queen?
He's betrayed his queen.
Will she no longer answer your call then?
He
What did you do?
I don't know what Willow jumped.
Something fell.
He hopes the execution happens before she comes for him.
Oh, the print of that barn slid down and shoved everything on the table forward,
Oh. When will that
knocking
happen?
over some of your
When will that happen?
yes, DVDs.
I don't know. As he just said it, since you can. He's trying to hide it, but thoughts keep coming into his head.
And with Zone of Truth, like, There's not much he can do about it.
It will be soon.
Do you think your fate will be any different if you die before she gets here?
Who's to say?
I'm sorry.
Considering what you've done, I don't think your death would bring you any more peace than her collectively would.
I'm so sorry, he doesn't know any Fey Gates.
It's worth a shot.
I was with the charm.
Damn it. I came all the way back here.
Thank you for your assistance.
Certainly.
I know I just met you. I started telling you to do things. I should probably not do that.
Well, I'm kind of stuck here now, and Silas said I was apparently connected to you now.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I don't know what that meant.
I don't know either. He doesn't have the right to conscription.
But considering I kind of stranded myself, I appreciate being allowed to tag along.
Aww.
I'm usually not that stupid.
Wizards typically aren't. They don't always make the wisest decisions, though.
I struggle in that regard.
Freki just eats
I'm
a carrot.
I'm told I can be a bit impulsive.
Ah, Willow. Scrapper.
Yes, the resemblance does show more and more.
I'm like,
I'm just permanently stuck in like
I'm gonna pop you on the nose.
summer phase. I'm just
Bop.
boys.
No, she looked like she was she had her paw.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Cool. Like I'm gonna pop you in the face.
Yeah. I don't actually know what the different seasons mean for the Eladrin. I just know that they can.
Each season gives them a different cantrip and slightly adjust their personality. They tend to be more sullen in winter. They tend to be very energetic in spring. They tend to be kind of hot-headed in summer. And fall, I forget, but I think they just tend to be kind of chill.
Chill. Calm.
Yeah, just kind of chill.
Yeah, you're just stuck in.
And they're all different. Like
I'm gonna just rule that my dad was in
When's your
summer
birthday?
court when I was conceived.
Oh no, it doesn't actually matter. They choose every time they do a long rest.
Yeah,
They can just swap it.
but I'm not Eladrin. My dad is. So I'm gonna say that he was just in summer phase when I was yeah.
You might have been in spring. That's when they're really energetic.
Oh, I saw that eyebrow.
So,
Alright. When she comes for you, will she come physically?
I do not know.
You know. The Eladrin lives in
It will
Feywild.
depend on how personal she took whatever insult he gave, and how much she wishes to expose herself to the physical world, the material world. In our realm, she's almost akin to a deity. Here, her powers are finished. It's unknown if a Fey Lord can be killed here, but it is rumored.
I feel like pretty much anything can be killed here if someone tries like this.
So with that, you guys can return once more to the estate
Yep.
for respite. Message comes 2 days later that the execution is slated to happen that evening. You get the message in the morning. If you wish to come, you may. If not,
I'll go.
How's the concoction?
it's a work in progress. You've burned through a couple of suits at this point.
That was just an
You're
idea.
Iron Manning it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, I'm like, okay. Then the idea was that if her blood can't carry heat, then I'll just create another layer that does. But if something else makes more sense to somebody that's actually skilled in alchemy, then we'll go with whatever makes sense for that world. Right?
She's using what she's good at, which while she can do alchemy, her knowledge is more magic.
No, I meant like for the game world rather than my own
Yeah.
crazy ideas.
an execution.
Should all of us go just in case something goes down? You were talking about potentially having a god show up and take his soul.
Faelord. Oh god.
There's a difference.
If,
Yes.
if that happens,
Faelord
it's gonna
makes
mean.
warlocks and god makes paladins.
I was gonna say if that happens either way, we're kind of kind of colossally
Don't forget to be inclusive, Lainath.
Of course. I'm normally so good about it.
Would you?
I'm
agree?
just asking
We're
Lainath.
I
colossally
do not
should-
see her. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if she comes, you want me to hold an execution?
I mean, for diplomacy's sake, yeah, we kind of do.
I can't say on that.
I don't think the orcs would know that would have happened.
Just brass tacks. Do you want us all to go? Or
I
should I
will
stay here
not.
and keep working?
I will not make any of you go to a public execution.
I will go.
I'll go.
I won't say.
I'll keep working.
I will stay at the manor
I'm not gonna make anybody go watch someone be beheaded.
to
Do you-
enjoy the relaxation.
Oh, I
Go
need to
to
see
the
my
execution
daughters.
grounds.
I believe since we'll be heading further south and past my 3
You plan to travel with us? Or just as far as your daughter?
We'll see.
The day of the time of the execution. He is brought up to a platform that has been readied. They do not give him a chance to speak. This isn't their society doesn't do that.
No last words?
No last words. He doesn't have that right. He's still gagged. His words might be a spell.
He lost that right when he committed treason. They might allow it for other crimes, but not that one.
The executioner takes the axe given by the Orc War Chief. No real ceremony is given. Once people have gathered, they announce it is time, and the axe comes down. It takes 2 whacks to get the head off, as
Ooh.
despite what you see, it's not always one clean chop.
Mm-hmm.
You also think that that axe might not have been sharpened.
Oh, that's why they gave it to us.
Oh.
Like, there's still an edge to it, but it's not sharpened to a keen.
Mm-hmm. It's not a clean cut.
There's no ceremony to it. He just dies. Moments after, however, a woman in black does appear on the stage. Momentarily lay a hand upon him and then vanish. People who move to stop her, she's gone before they're given a chance. She doesn't seem to take anything, just lays a hand and then leaves.
Probably took his soul.
As, yes, you're imagining his soul did not get to go to an afterlife. It was taken by the Fae Queen.
She let the mortals have their execution. Got what she wanted.
That was nice.
The Queen of Air and Darkness is not necessarily an evil entity. She's more neutral.
Yeah.
She
She
does
knew
her
what she
thing.
wanted. His body wasn't what she wanted.
After which, you return to a few days of respite.
It wasn't his life she was after. It was his after. She was after.
He had a good
Everyone
600 years.
at this point
No, they had an evil 600 years.
has been given plenty of opportunity for full rest, recovery,
Puzzle music.
full hit die.
Dude. Full all the things.
Several days later, Alyssa and her sister and their little brother do come home. Alyssa will probably be staying in the capital a bit more lately, but this is still home.
Has she been afforded some sort of position of authority?
She's the Jarl until she's voted out.
Even though the wedding never actually occurred.
She was given the Jarldom by the Jarl. He said, "You're in charge until I come back."
Okay, and he just never did.
He
And then
never did.
there were lots of witnesses to that.
And so far, she hasn't done bad.
No. In fact, she's somewhat negotiated a truce with the
She
orc.
negotiated a truce with the Orc. She's seen as the one who routed their army with that ice death spell. Given it destroyed a lot of the city, but, you know, the army was doing that anyway.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
While we're
Burn the village, burn the buildings to save the people? Yeah.
While we're here, can I send for my daughter to come here?
It would take a little bit, but she would tell you that's going to be handled.
Okay.
Travel should be here soon. Before you go, though, I do have gifts, if you will accept them.
Airship. Vernon will never be happy until we get an airship in a cave.
If you would accept them, I do have gifts for you.
Okay.
She's like, here's an
Coke.
airship.
Tokens of thanks, if you will.
Sweet.
As far, there have not been many magic items in the game, though.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing.
I think the only one, aside from a few potions, is your shield.
Mhm.
Then you
And
got
the ring of protection.
you got the ring and you got the wand, which you guys are probably going to sell you. So.
Yeah.
Now, what does the ring give me again?
+1 to AC
Okay.
and +1 to saving throws. All of them.
Okay.
Which I could be wrong, but I believe includes death. Because
Oh,
death
I-
is a saving throw.
Nice.
It's just one you don't get bonuses on by attributes.
It does say death save, doesn't it?
So, while I don't want you to be specific on an item, I would ask to go around and say the kind of item you would like.
We have a challenging paladin question. Weapon or armor? Weapon or armor?
You have a magic shield.
Have
You
a
want to
magic-
get more magic armor? Are you wearing plate yet?
No.
Reese has already heard them.
Only when I use the shield. also
I
use
know
the
what
shield
I would
weapon
want.
sometimes.
I would want a sweet bow.
There we go. Kaci starts.
She knows what she wants.
I know. I've been wanting a sweet bow for a while.
See, if I get full magic armor, then I can be more reliant on my two-handed weapon without having to.
Be more like your hero one.
You are given a +1 longbow.
Your hero one.
Let's see, I'm torn between a sweet bow, or something to help me sneak, or something to help me percept.
Oh, like boots.
Would you like? You gotta start on your elven kind stuff.
As this bow, forged of dark iron, is wider, sturdier, and larger than a typical bow. It stands almost 6 feet tall. String is near as thick as half your pinky width.
Damn.
As this bow was forged by the giants.
Oh.
Made for their smaller allies, but passed to your hand.
So it's a weapon from Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Or Dark
Because all of the Dragon Age weapons were like huge.
Or it's from Dark Souls. There are some giant ass boys in that game.
Additionally, you suffer no harm from temperature between -20 and 120 degrees Fahrenheit, as it protects you
Well, that's fucking
from the
useful.
cold. Note that here it can get much lower than -20, and then it doesn't help, but on calm days, you can walk around fine as long as you have the bow.
Negative. You said take a negative
-20
20.
to 120.
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit, yes.
Kelvin.
Oh God!
Wow.
As
You
it
can
is
survive
simply a
cold with an
+1
absolute
weapon,
zero?
it does not require attunement.
Sweet.
Just because you can go lower than 0 Kelvin.
Was it called anything?
Give it a name.
I gotta work on that.
All the best weapons have names. If this one did, unfortunately it was lost. This is merely from what is now my personal collection. He apparently was a bit of a hoarder.
And I have to clean it out.
She doesn't know what to do with it, so
No.
use it as gifts.
As well.
I think I'll take some sick armor.
Armor?
Some sweet armor.
Okay. She gives you. As story-wise, she brought these things specifically. I'm just letting the players choose the type of item that they want their characters to have because why not?
Just ask Talia. She's like, hey, Talia, you remind her to write these people one.
She will give you a suit.
Because it sounds like you said Talia.
I did.
Which is my daughter.
Yes.
Oh.
It's based on the name.
Well, she is an oracle.
She's in this game, she will be a sorcerer.
Or my daughter, though. My daughter is.
You
is
get a suit of +1 chainmail. Likewise made of dark metal and very large interlocking rings, but there's just a lot of them. So they're not creating open spaces by being larger, they're just more heavily layered.
No, like if it's a thick gauge, you don't need to have that many more. My favorite chain shirt that I own was made out of 12 gauge rings that were like an inch in diameter. It was fucking great.
And this armor, the rings are made of adamant and cannot be broken.
Adamant? I got adamant? Fuck yeah.
That's my armor.
Adamant.
Sadly, actually, I will let you choose. It can either be, it's made of adamant either way, but it'll either be the +1 or the actual bonus of adamantine armor,
Which ignores crits?
which ignores crits.
I'm gonna ignore crits.
Okay. So you get a shirt of adamant chain.
This means it doesn't actually change, but.
Nope.
Fuck off, crits. I don't need you.
And this is technically a non-magical item. So adamant is just a metal.
Shit. Now that means I can get this enchanted later.
Yes, you can.
I would like it. I don't know about
Okay. Leia, what is it?
or polearm in general.
I don't know if there are other polearms.
There's halberds and swords.
Never forget halberds.
Never forget.
I forgot if they actually gave stats for the halberd.
It is. It's the exact same as a glaive.
It is.
That's kind of sad.
I know, right?
Because I think that the thing with the halberd though is I think the halberd gives the option of doing piercing or.
You are given
Slashing.
a glaive, also giant made. Most of these are giant made, that's what he took them from. This one, the blade is a bit unique looking, as there are, near the base where it connects to the haft, there look like teeth. Not like fangs, but like on a key.
Ooh. It's a keyblade!
Yeah.
You got a keyblade!
She doesn't know what these are. She thinks they may be aesthetic, but you look at this thing and it looks like it could fit into some sort of big keyhole.
Keyblades unlock things.
It came from a giant.
Yeah.
Turns out it was never actually a halberd. It is literally just a key for like a storm titan or something. Here we go. I do 3 things. I sneak, I shoot, I search.
Okay.
I need something that helps me do one or more of those things, but I have to pick a roll of die.
Go ahead.
Freki, I believe we
Sneak.
actually do.
Shoot.
Do you know how to cast the identify spell?
Search.
Searching.
No.
Because yeah, we have a whole list of things we need to identify.
Because this is curious.
As much as I did really want like the dope ass bow, or something.
Well, you do sneaking a lot more. I
Yeah.
mean, granted, you bow, but
You are given a.
you sneak all the time.
Sorry, which thing did you choose?
Search.
Okay, that's close. You
Any
gain
gray area in between is cool.
set of dark fingerless gloves with etchings or stitchings that make like different magical sigils wrapping around the back of the hand. They are gloves of thievery.
Okay. Okay.
While worn, they are invisible. And while wearing them, you gain a +5 bonus to dexterity sleight of hand checks, as well as dexterity checks made to pick locks.
+5 bonus?
And that leaves you.
Something to help me heal better, or something to help me smash better. I will either heal my allies or crush my enemies.
This is just craziest idea. Okay, so you know how a staff is basically just a giant piece of wood, right?
Yeah.
And you know how a maul is basically just a giant piece of wood with a big chunk of metal at the end of it?
Yeah.
Okay, now hear me out. What if you take a staff and you put the head of a maul on it? Could you do that? Could you have a staff that's also a hammer?
Could be a custom item, yeah.
It would be unwieldy as hell.
Yeah, I think that at that point it would just be, a long hammer, because the problem is that all of the weight would be on one end. You would not be able to use it as a staff.
Yeah.
But for spellcasting,
Oh.
that's what I'm saying.
For spellcasting, yeah, I think you could do that for spellcasting.
Okay, so hear me out for a cleric.
I thought you were talking about the critical weapon.
No, I'm talking about turning a staff and a hair font into a maul.
Whoa.
That would be something you would have to make, but I mean, you can make.
Doesn't staff the Hierophant allow you to catch Shillelagh?
No.
Oh.
Shillelagh's a druid thing.
Oh. Well,
Staff
Hierophant
Hierophant is like specifically for clerics.
Really?
Clerics, and I think maybe. Pretty sure it's a cleric staff.
You are given a maul, also of giant make. Large, massive head at the end of this thing. When you grab it, though it's not penalizing you, you actually can't get your fingers all the way around its haft. Still mostly so. It's just this big hammer. It is a maul of warning. You do have to attune to this weapon.
Okay.
While attuned, you have advantage on initiative rolls. And you and any of your companions within 30 feet cannot be surprised except when incapacitated by something other than non-magical sleep. The weapon will awaken you if necessary.
Okay, so me and my allies within
30 feet cannot be surprised. Except when incapacitated by something other than magical sleep. So if you're like paralyzed or knocked out, you can still be surprised, but if it's like a sleep spell or just natural sleep, the weapon will wake you up.
Okay.
The big thing is advantage on initiative.
How many gloves require attunement? And that was just a +5 of those two different rolls, right? Not anything else?
What was the staff?
Staff and a hair
They do not require attunement.
Is it just is a spell like it sounds?
HIEROPHANT, I believe.
After she has handed the gift to Freki,
They don't actually have it in D&D 5 yet.
and I am wearing the
Oh.
gloves,
Damn.
I will act as if I haven't received the gift yet, and go through the same spiel that I did before. Because the gloves become invisible when you put them on.
Except for she got you the gloves.
I know, I was just messing with her.
She's like, no.
I had to try.
Did you?
Yeah.
But you didn't.
Alright, shook with gloves, you get nothing.
Well, I'm in a good mood now. You're still
The
busting.
mobile
So-
warning has the same bonuses as my other weapon.
Just to clarify.
Like, it doesn't have a plus.
Okay.
But it is a magical weapon.
Okay.
Just for my sheet.
And
The giant glaive is standard the exact same as the regular glaive,
Yes.
except for the Tifu bits.
Yes.
What is it made out of?
It's just a hardened metal.
Okay.
Steel.
Just because I'm curious about it, because she said you didn't know a whole lot about it. When you cast the detect its magic.
It is a magical weapon. There is magic on it.
Interesting.
It's a +1 weapon.
You didn't say that.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, he was asking if it was the same as the other one. And you
I
said
know.
yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Yeah.
The
I
key thing is just its weird special feature.
Yeah.
No, it is a +1. It is a
Okay.
+1 glaive.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think.
That's why he was like,
I think
is it
somebody
just like
said.
the other one? You're like,
because
yeah.
I think
I
so-
apologize. I misunderstood.
No, I think somebody said because I didn't hear the
Okay.
rest of
No, I
that.
didn't hear it either.
She also gives to your group
an airship. No.
a glass jar containing Kigotham's ointment.
What was that?
A glass jar contains 5 doses of a thick mixture that smells faintly of aloe. It weighs about a ½ pound. As an action, 1 dose of the ointment can be swallowed or applied to the skin. That creature regains 2d8 plus 2 hit points, ceases to be poisoned, and is cured of disease.
Nice.
Who's carrying that?
It's a jar of Healy goo.
I'm gonna say.
I would thought that.
Alright.
You think you can replicate it?
No, that's an herbalism check. And I can't do that without me.
I did hear about a jar that could produce.
You got that on your-
How many doses was in that?
5.
5?
Maybe we can find something like that. Mayonnaise, ointment, it's the same viscosity. Mayonnaise is kind of like an ointment.
As she gives you these
Start
gifts,
smearing mayonnaise on people.
and as you are all kind of admiring your new toys,
No.
I'm trying to admire mine.
Oh my god. What happens if we hit the indestructible arrow against my indestructible armor?
it may still hurt if the arrow gets through some of the links.
You want to do it?
No.
I get you.
Are you sure?
You seem really eager. Do you want to shoot me?
A little bit.
Do you want to shoot
Anastasia.
me, Silas? You want to see how this
Just
goes?
a little bit.
You want to see? Do you want to see
Hey.
where I'm going with this?
Girls,
Silence.
girls.
We had this
both
conversation.
I am
Nobody
pretty.
kills Lainath but me.
I am pretty.
Lynn is very determined to be the one to take my head.
You're all very strange.
I don't understand it either. It's fine.
As Shineheart and Anastasia come in, Shineheart kind of bounding excitedly. They're here. And Alyssa's like, and it appears the transport has arrived.
Thank you.
How'd the alchemical thing turn out?
You think that it's not going to be enough to get her to be able to fight in these temperatures, but she can travel.
Okay.
If she does fight, she'll basically be at disadvantage. She'll basically have 2 levels of exhaustion, 2 or 3. Like, she will not do good in the cold still.
Well, I present her with what we made.
She gladly takes it and thanks you. Finds it a little bit. Actually, make an intelligence check, not alchemy for this part.
Just round paladin.
No intelligence.
Not a save.
Not a save.
No, this is to see if you remember to take her measurements before you made her a suit.
Well, was somebody helping me? Do I have advantage?
Yeah.
Okay. Take it.
Your sister helped you as much as she could.
21.
She's actually surprised that it's as comfortable as it is.
Beat the 9 that I rolled beforehand. Thanks, sis.
Yeah.
Your sister was like, maybe we should make sure that it fits.
Your
her."
sister's like, remember she has a chest. Right. Not a guy.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Or just basically helping you get it so it will be comfortable to wear.
Mm-hmm.
If you did terrible, she just accepts it with all the enthusiasm that Ron does when he accepts one of those sweaters. It's like, I know he meant well, but goddamn.
As you guys join Alyssa, Anastasia, and Shineheart outside, you see descending from the clouds.
Yes!
A longship. Held aloft by these large glowing stones held out to either side. Wing-like sails extending from them.
Oh my god, your dream just came true.
3 goddamn campaigns, Kaci.
We got a flying city in one of them.
There's a good chance that
I
when
never got the chance
I get
to
up in the
pilot the
morning,
flying city.
he will
kinda
still have
fishing
a
my
glow
pants
on
on
his
this.
face about the ship.
As, right now, we're going to make a captain. I want name, race, alignment, and general personality.
Neutral good.
You gotta call for a neutral good.
That's a really good. That's a solid alignment. Solid alignment. Hear me out though. Chaotic neutral.
I will second the
Chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Oh no! Why are you doing
Because chaotic neutral is very fun.
this?
Neutral
Female
good.
captain.
And I know that we've done this for airships before, but I still kind of love it. And I don't. Wait, I think it was inherited. I was gonna say Air Ganassi, but I think we already had in heritage an Air Ganassi captain of a flying ship.
You
I
had
say
a
half
water
of it.
Ganassi captain of a regular ship.
That
I
was right.
say
Sea
half of
breeze.
That's right. Sea breeze.
Halfling?
Fucking love
I like
series.
halflings. Halfling or gnome.
Oh my god, a gnome. Is a gnome.
Yeah.
Gnome it is.
No.
Rock or forest?
Rock.
Ooh, I would say forest.
Rock,
Forest.
Rock.
forest, rock.
I'm rolling rock.
Okay, so we're tied.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brandon say rock.
Brandon's
Uh,
The girls say forest so far.
Oh shit, do I go with the Brandons or do I go with the girls? Oh yeah!
Flip a coin.
That's a good idea. I do have a penny in there. I'm gonna go with heads for rock. Because it'll be very hard headed.
Uh-huh.
Tails for forest.
And then just lions say rock.
Okay, fine. I'm not chaotic neutral.
What
Got
does,
it.
what does the banana say?
Land flat. Sucks. Look at a penny. Heads.
It's totally heads.
Rock.
Okay. Male or female?
Female.
Female.
Female. That was in my head the entire time. I don't know.
Or a gender.
No rock, no. Eventually, I'm sure, if people will like really start listening, it's like, why are most of the main NPCs female?
This chicks are cool.
I'm a feminist writer, so
Half the tables.
yeah, half the table is
Well,
women.
half of the table is women.
Half the players.
Half,
More of them.
more than half the players, half the table.
Right.
All right, female,
Half the
rock gnome, class.
Ooh, something awesome.
You guys get
Something.
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 I will pick a name.
Something
I'll
swashbuckler.
do a name.
I'm gonna say,
Rogue swashbuckler.
I was gonna say
How many-
Kate
how-
Warlock.
how many levels, Josh?
Or a swashbuckler.
I'm not going to say the exact levels, but it's enough to pick the
Ranger,
specialty.
because of the fact that
I
they're
was
flying
saying
a
it's-
ship.
it's-
Well,
they're good at
more than
navigating.
two.
There actually is a Swashbuckler rogue archetype, if I remember correctly.
Bard fighter multi-class.
It might have been fighting.
Might have been.
Bard's calling for a bard fighter in multiclass. Not the College of Swords or Valor.
I think maybe the college is.
Because I mean, you could multiclass.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good,
if we make
But
it
I
a
also just
bard,
like the idea of like,
we'll
oh
get-
no, here's just
we'll
the
get
College of
shanties.
Valor Bard.
we'll get shanties on the way there if we
I
get a
do.
bard.
I really like bards. I have a very large
So
affinity
bard?
for bards.
Bard.
Bard.
Ah, kind
The
of
question is college.
That's 2 so far. We're just doing class right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Bard.
Bard. That's
Yeah, I was tempted to say bard, but I couldn't think of anything better.
I'm gonna say Valor for the college.
I don't know a lot of the
Take back
colleges
that
for
fighter
bards.
thing, so
But the
I
thing
don't
is,
think
no
it's
matter
like
what we
it's
say,
like
it's gonna be
the
whispered.
captain
Um,
versus Bard.
Whisper, sword, glamour, lore, valor.
What's glamour?
Illusions, trickery.
Ooh, I kind of like that. With an airship to like hide it.
Smaller scale.
I know, but
I kind of still say valor.
Valor,
I don't know the other
I'm gonna
classes.
throw swords.
swords.
I forget what the difference was between them.
Swords are more of a duelist. Valor is more of still the inspire others. Sword can do a lot more for themselves. They're more of a scout.
I like Valor for inspiring her crew.
Valor.
Because I imagine
Because all bards can still do that. She's still a bard.
Right.
So we got 2 for valor, 1 for swords.
She's organic for roommates.
I don't know enough about all the classes to pick.
Just based it off of the word.
Valor or sword.
Oh, those are my 2 choices.
Unless you want to make
Unless you want to make a
Valor.
third call.
unless you want to be the spoiler vote.
Why do you wink at me? I guess I'll go with Valor.
College of Valor.
Yay. That wasn't a manipulative wink at all.
And now you guys are kind of back and forth. So is it neutral good or is it chaotic neutral?
I think neutral good.
I like neutral good.
Chaotic neutral.
Chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
God damn it, guys.
You fly your own ship.
Hey, this is a character by committee. It's gonna be crazy.
Name.
Mini Zyre.
Like Minnie is her name.
M-I-N.
Is it because she's a gnome?
Is everyone improving this?
No, I'm just wanting to clarify in the first nomination.
Is that a full name or is that 2
No,
names?
that's a full name. Like
Okay.
that's a first
That's
name.
a first name.
Yeah.
Mini Zyre.
Mini Zyre, Thistledown.
I like Thistledown.
I like this.
I'm
one.
down for Thistledown for sure. Mini Zyre.
I just don't know if I want somebody named Down captaining our airship.
Thistledown. She's chaotic neutral.
This is not a water ship.
Right?
Is that how you say it? Elior?
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any ideas?
I'm down for Thistledown. Captain
Leah's the only
Captain
one
Thistledown.
throwing names out.
Yeah. Rasiki?
Ooh,
Rosiki.
Masiki sounds cool.
Yeah.
I
Does
like
she go
that.
does she go by Rose for short?
Or Ro.
I like that.
Star Rasiki?
R-O-S-I-C-I.
Does she have a nickname? Rose?
Ro.
Or Ro?
Yeah, I think Ro.
Like row your boat.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Gently
100%.
through the air.
She runs with that joke.
Probably
That
seems
implies
to.
it.
False holding scissors.
Yes. Because she's chaotic
But
neutral.
because she's also a gnome, she used to have
Exactly.
like 8 names.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is her first name and her last, which
Yeah.
is
She's got a
Oh,
bunch in the
gnomes.
middle there.
most gnomes have a billion
Well-
and a half names.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, Lexi
Timber
was
just
just
went by-
insane with it.
Timber.
Lexi likes to go
name.
at least like 7 or 8.
And then she continuously picks them out throughout
And
the
then
Well,
she-
day.
family.
Hey,
It's like-
hey, Timber. was-
Final. What's the name of the airship?
What would someone named Rose
What
Thistledown,
would a rock gnome
who's a rock gnome,
bard?
bard, chaotic
The
neutral?
Banana Palace.
Thistle up.
The Fizz.
Wayward Albatross.
Phoenix down.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
My
so
childhood.
far the only one that sounded serious was Wayward Albatross.
Well, I said Fizzle. The SS Fizzle.
What's an Arctic bird that's not a penguin?
Puffin.
Ooh.
Ooh, Puffin. Puffin, 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 Puffin.
Okay, so Puffin needs to be in the name. Because puffins can fly.
Right.
Well, so can albatrosses.
Yeah.
Yeah, but albatrosses aren't really like known for being in the tundra, are they?
Nah.
When there's
No,
fly all
they're
over the
seaplanes.
place.
Yeah.
The Puffin
Basically
Dragon.
just really fucking huge seagulls.
The Puffin Dragon.
The unpopular airship Puffin.
SS Puffin.
Unpopular Puffin.
Puffin the Magic Dragon.
I said Puffin. I said Puffin the Dragon.
Yeah, Puppany.
Skyward Puffin.
Oh god.
Going once.
The gold puppet.
The Muffin Puffin.
What was the
Oh,
is the ship
shit.
of color? Is the ship painted?
Can be whatever color.
The
Express.
How about the muffin puffin?
Oh my god.
The rusty pumpkin.
The rusty pumpkin. That's terrible.
Just imagine it's like covered in rust.
That's awful. I don't want to fly in that. To fly out of the sky.
Puffins, they're not flying
What's
birds, are they?
Yeah, they are.
Puffins can fly.
I have a different image in my head.
I mean,
called
we can
the-
also call it
the,
the blue-footed booby.
Just go with the Arctic Puffin.
I contributed my half of the name already.
The-
I already put puffin
The
on the table.
Zephyr Puffin.
The what?
Zephyr. It's about flight.
Puffin Express.
It's up to you guys.
I like the puffin.
I mean, it could just be literally the Puffin.
Everybody has a
Fine.
different name for it, but Puffin is always included.
I have contributed the whole.
McMuffin
The only
puffin.
Because I don't
Standing
like Muffin Puffin.
I think it's funny.
I think it's cute, and if I
I
was a
don't-
gnome, that is totally what I would name my ship, and you know I would.
And you would never get jobs.
The muffin puffin? Who would want to ride in that? And I would always.
I
say
would be
muffins.
like, is this a breakfast thing? Like, do I
It
just,
is. It
can I
delivers.
just
It's
get-
the best
No,
I
breakfast.
don't
no,
need a
no.
ride. Can I just get a
Yeah.
scone?
Nobody would ride in that because you would
So-
anger the Puffin activists and the Muffin activists.
We will
at the
just
same
for
time.
now call it the puppet.
It is the Puffin.
As from the sky, this rather nice looking airship descends. Across the side, written in several tongues, is the name the Puffin.
You know, we completely missed an opportunity to name this gnome something that started with Sid.
Yep, too late.
Too late.
Sid.
Committee's over.
And
Final
every
Fantasy.
Final Fantasy game,
Yeah.
Sid is a recurring character.
But she probably
Sid
has
is always the one that pilots the
She
airship.
probably has crew, which means there's still a possibility for a wedge and Biggs.
As there are several crew that you see. As it takes 10 people to fly one of these things.
Biggs is
They also
another
have a-
gnome.
They also have a
Ledge
capacity of
is
like
One
100.
ton.
A Goliath.
A Goliath.
Yes. Oh, that's the small one. I was thinking like it's like
I think
because
I have
there's
our
one
next
of them
one.
that has like 90 passengers.
There's
So
five
this one
of
is
us
20
and 10 crew. We
passengers.
each get to make 2.
What do you think homework's going to be?
Yeah!
Y'all still. No, you did. Never mind. You just haven't tried it out.
I think it'd be cuter if the whole ship was run by gnomes.
We might not necessarily be going
One
for
of
cute.
you is missing their 3 unit members, I think. 'Cause-
Oh, Leia hasn't given us
no,
3
I
people
wasn't
yet.
counting Leia because she wasn't a member of the order.
We've all contributed, but I haven't
And
committed
I
all
gave
of
you
them
like a
to...
bunch of NPCs to begin with.
Because everyone did 3, and I only have 9.
I have the twins and one other, but I don't think I gave them names, and that's probably
Yeah,
why.
that's why I don't have names.
I don't have names. I'm very terrible at names. Hello, Puffin Muffin.
So, it lands, and from it, this elaborately dressed, with this ginormous hat,
Yes.
Yes!
much bigger than she needs it to be, with a feather bigger still,
You know,
Yes!
my
that
real
near
trick-
comes down to her
I wanted
feet,
to know this whole time.
kind of stands on the bow of the ship. So are these the groundlings I'm supposed to take with me?
I love her already.
That's supposed to... Yes!
What? Groundlings?
I can fly.
I used to be on a.
Great, I guess you don't need the
But
airboat.
she removes her enormous
Just
hat,
saying.
gives this elaborate bow to the sisters. It is a pleasure to work for you again, my ladies. Especially when you're offering that much coin.
They're being generous on my
See.
behalf.
Puts the hat back on.
I can fly too, really fast actually.
It's
9.8 meters per second.
on a. This is
It's called flying.
this is Captain
Flying is just fun.
Rasili Thistledown.
Flying is just fun.
We've- Acquired her services for you as you need them. She's yours for the year.
The year.
The year.
That is greatly appreciated. Oh, nice.
You did help save my sister and our country, so
Could I import a further favor from you?
it depends on the favor. But certainly,
Why are you staring at me like that?
Because you looked at me.
I just happened
She
to look
gets a
over
little-
and you were just like,
He gets a little worried if you make that expression to her. Like, I
Ah.
need to know what it is first.
all of my clothes are staying on.
I tell her about the small village that I was the cleric of,
Mhm.
and ask if they could potentially send a replacement for me there, and if my daughter could come and stay with them and learn from them.
Oh. We can, yes, of course.
Do you intend to come with us for the whole year?
I find your journey interesting. Cough, cough. Leah wants to stay in the game.
Yes. You could also bring your daughter along. That is
Yeah,
an
she
option.
can stay on the ship.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. No.
Because the ship will hold, like,
I also kind of just wanted my daughter to meet a fucking dragon.
She can be just out of harm's way all the time.
I spent a whole campaign like that.
Yeah. But yes, they will send for another cleric.
Except when I was in harm's way. Be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Be prepared for that.
So-
No, when I wrote her having a daughter, I was like, yeah, Josh is gonna kill this kid.
You don't usually kill children.
He does
Hey.
it. I wrote several.
Reese has something to say about that.
I said usually.
Oh.
We brought it back. It's fine. They got
I was
better.
gonna say, you guys with the power level that they can come back.
Yeah,
They got better.
yeah.
It
So,
just took
not
some
like
time
Kosa.
because at the
so which one of these am I supposed to follow the orders of?
Hello.
no, Vanessa.
It was my time to shine.
Technically,
All right.
We do. Finish this introduction.
Fair warning.
I mean, you can introduce yourself.
My ship. I'm the boss.
Your ship, your rules.
That's really it.
But
You want to tell me to go somewhere? We'll go that direction. Tell me to crash the beast into a mountain? I'll kick you off the side at 10,000 feet.
That sounds like a terrible idea anyway.
And I can fly.
And I can fly. I'd much rather not crash into another something.
So, get your crap and we'll head out when you're ready.
Alright, everybody load up.
Consider we don't have a lot of things.
No, you don't.
Loading up
Oh.
music.
Everybody's coming?
I can't think of anybody that's gonna stay behind.
No. Dan is coming, Ashton is coming.
Okay.
Everybody that's remotely affiliated with our organization is coming.
Including Freki's daughter.
And your sister.
Well, yeah.
She's now part of the team.
Yes.
By the way, you
She's
don't
like,
have
yes,
the
I'm
right,
included.
don't have the right to keep script. She told me that you had already told her she was already, like, in the whole...
I said, like, welcome to the group, right? Isn't that what I said? Welcome to the...
Yes, and you're part of this organization thing.
Different group.
Yes,
I can't be held responsible
Clarity
if
of,
somebody inferred what I said.
clarity of language sense.
I think it's a discussion for later. Let's get on the ship.
We got a lot of those. We got a lot of pins.
I imagine we're
Yeah.
discussing this while we're loading shit.
The
Yeah.
sisters wish you all farewell. Safe travels. They hope you find what you're looking for.
Oh, I went to the market before we left, and I grabbed a bunch of flowers. I'm gonna throw them off the side as we go.
What market?
Damn it! Okay, I found some flowers just sitting around. I want to throw them off the
Hey.
ship as I leave.
It's fucking war-torn, village. I'm sure that there's a flower girl somewhere. That
Yeah, I got a big bushel of flowers, and
her
as I'm
house
going,
just burned
I'm
down,
like,
and she's all sad. She's got these flowers.
She's gonna end up the flower, Vanessa's gonna smell it, it's gonna knock her unconscious, flower girl's gonna steal all her money.
no, I have nothing. I can do it.
You know.
She's gonna get murdered at
The
the end
mirror.
of this movie. Everybody's gonna be sad and not want to finish the game.
Discount murder.
So yeah, I'm throwing flowers off the side
That
of
happened
the,
to
of
like
the
twice
airship.
after the name of the game.
Okay.
Because I want
That was
to.
the first thing that happened to
Little
him.
kid was like peddling flowers and
One of them was laced with a sleeping potion.
we was like, I'll buy a flower from the kid. Conk. Kid robbed and blind.
It's amazing.
So,
Thanks for your hospitality. I'm glad that your country hasn't been destroyed by war.
Good. Glad we can help.
so are we.
Perhaps we will see you again in the future.
Hopefully in a warmer climate.
They live here. That's kind of rude to
They
say.
can travel. Don't say that they can't travel.
She's the Jarl now. How far can she go?
As far as she wants.
We need to invent the industry, and we can change this climate real fast.
Oh no! Let's stop that.
As the ship, once you're aboard,
I only wish that this had the Wind Waker music on it. Dude, that's some dope sailing.
man, I already forgot how to pronounce this name.
Rose.
Row.
Row.
It's Rose.
Row.
Rose,
Rosiki.
not Rose.
Rosiki.
She is not like the flower.
Rosiki, that's it.
Rosiki.
So where are we going?
Everyone.
To pick up her daughter.
Easily done.
We
After that?
fly to this
Actually-
tiny little fucking city. I've
A,
never seen anything like this.
how fast does this travel? B, are you willing to go to other planes?
I'm not suicidal, but my services are paid for a year.
Oh, I'm glad we got that out of the way fast.
8 miles an hour.
Is that
Oh.
is that a year?
But
within-
consistently.
Is that but that's a year within your time frame?
It's a year.
What does that mean, Lynn?
Doesn't he go to
Lynn
the
doesn't know anything about planar travel. Unless she does.
Unless she does, because her grandfather always told her stories about their adventures.
Yeah.
And yes.
And you lose track of time if they
And
were.
he was gone for like 3 years and 3 days. Because they went to the plane that we're going to, probably.
I have a ledger of days. When those run out, you pay me more money, or we land and you get off my boat.
Alright.
So we go to this Drast place, this middle of nowhere village, and then that'll take it not even a day.
Then we need to find.
Theoretically, if Evermore is 1,000 miles away, I don't know how far away it is, but theoretically,
A lot, but
we can go 1,000 miles in 5.2 days if the thing doesn't have to stop.
Nice. Does this thing have to stop?
only for food and such. We got plenty stored up.
Yeah. 1,000 divided by 8 divided by 24.
Yeah.
5.2.
Checks out.
So I would actually have to look at the distance between the two.
Just saying that, like, we can travel 1,000 miles a week.
Is
Yeah.
is this planet a similar is
Similar
this
size.
to Earth,
Yes.
and it is on the other side of the planet?
No, it's on the other side of the continent. Imagine.
If I had like the planet into quarters, how much does this take?
He said that we were basically in.
You are basically in northern Siberia,
Yeah,
and you want to go to
like Spain,
Spain, Germany.
like 3,400 miles.
So a couple weeks.
We've got plenty of rations stored up, and you have to be a
17.7
knowledge
days.
cleric.
Okay.
So no, you cannot
Damn.
prepare identify.
Okay, so I can't prepare
Oh,
identify.
my sister.
You know,
Which is just one.
Yeah, it would be 17.7 days to travel 3,400 miles at a consistent
Approximately
pace.
3 weeks.
yeah.
At a consistent pace of 8 miles an hour.
Approximately 3 weeks.
Might have to make a stop too, but
Stop.
Mhm.
Such.
shouldn't take more than a few hours each time. Give the lads a rest, stretch some legs.
You ever heard of Evermore?
I've heard of a giant crater in the ground. Yes.
We need to go there.
All right.
Unless we have another lead for.
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
Hey, I'm totally going towards one of my things.
Yeah, you.
I wanted to go to Evermore and check out to see if they had any cool like leftover relics.
Oh, there's some still there.
I wonder if the Taros is still there.
I know the Tarask is still there because it hasn't gotten up since the last time I saw it.
Sunk into the earth a bit, but yeah, it's there.
It's actually the one place I have not been.
As you go, you retrieve your daughter, who, as the airship descends, people come out to see what the heck this is. Because there's probably at least one person who shouted dragon.
Yeah.
Dragon!
Dragon! That's not a dragon! I don't know what it is, but that's not a dragon.
Have you ever seen a dragon and lived to tell about it? No, then how do you not know? Steamwalk dragon!
Oh my god, that clockwork dragon though.
What was the thing?
As I forgot her name. I feel so bad at names. Rebecca, yes. There's Rebecca and Talia come out. Talia, of course, being very excited.
Yeah. She's like, yeah!
And Rebecca's sitting there smiling. Once you guys land, not a city.
Not yet. We didn't find what we were looking for.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry if that joke was in bad taste.
No,
I thought it was
but it's
great.
alright.
But it was funny.
They liked it.
That's good.
We provided this in order to chase our next lead.
Apparently you made a good impression.
The best.
Very good one.
Your daughter is just all over you.
We're hugging. We're getting back into like mother-daughter mode.
Collected a few new faces.
Yes.
It's the boy is still kind of hiding. He's still peeking out. But
Yeah. I'm almost sad that we don't have the little baby dragon with us because I really wanted my daughter to meet the little baby dragon.
sorry.
Someday.
Shineheart has to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be cool for the party to have another pet dragon. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
A mesh dragon puppy.
You know I'd fucking die if you just gave us one of them.
I figured giving you guys an airship would be something.
Yeah.
Oh, you made Brandon today.
That's the biggest part of his life.
He's not gonna probably stop talking about that.
And you're like, oh, and I get to keep it for an entire year?
Plus, you can keep paying her.
Barter's like, okay, already setting aside the money.
Barter's
Yeah,
like,
he's
Lena's
like,
saving up.
Alright guys, so
She
we're
was
gonna have an
saving up for this
airship
forever.
fund, a party fund, and then everyone gets money. That's what he's gonna do.
She would also have 20 grand and you could just buy him a boat.
Oh, I can tell them.
Wait, what?
Oh, just they were joking about the airship, and she was saying, you know,
Every
in
time
a
we find
year you can just keep paying her and she'll keep serving, or if you just buy her boat and then just keep paying her services, buying her boat being 20 grand,
Or she teaches me how to fly the boat and then I just buy it.
or that.
I said that every time we find money, you're gonna have
As long as
airship
you have-
money, party
Oh,
fund.
Lynn's already working out the logistics of a mortgage in a fantasy economy.
It does take 10 crewmen, including captain.
1, 2, 3.
We need to recruit more people.
As if you wish for a good idea of my envisioning of this airship, look up the airship, the main airship in Escaflowne.
Okay.
As I like the idea of the levee stones, and it's less of like a pirate ship with a giant balloon, and more using levitation magics and things like that to
I
keep
kind
it
of,
on.
I kind of imagine like it kind of looks like a more stretched out version of the garden from Final Fantasy.
Kind of more ship-like than that, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that's.
But yeah, good reference.
What was the one from the other garden? Like not the main one, the one where what's her face was from?
I didn't get too far into 8.
Because there was another garden that just got
Fuck the draw system.
Yeah. And so you guys set out. Rebecca waving you off as you head southeastward toward the ruins of Evermore.
A long time coming.
The airship comes around.
And that is where we're going to close off for this
I
evening.
haven't been back to Evermore in 60 years. It's 60 years since I've been there.
You're the only person here that actually lived there.
No, I did.
Mhm.
I was a wee bab.
Would I know of Evermore?
Probably not.
Okay. So I'm just like, okay, well, they're gonna talk about shit. I'm gonna hang out with my daughter and this kid that keeps clinging to me.
I mean, if we're talking about shit, I might tell you why I've been so goddamn angry. Because it seems like you're still oblivious. No,
Oblivious
you
and
too,
avoidant.
Casey.
Oblivious and avoidant are different.
Why are
That's
you
true.
mad at me?
Because we were going
to spend like an hour or two maybe in that jail cell, which seemed to be okay for like the three of us.
I followed orders, so I'm good.
But it was not okay for him. A gesture of all. He was freaking out.
Still followed orders.
There was better ways to handle it than
I got a
drawing
promotion.
a guard.
Which I would not have had to do if I had some goddamn backup.
And
you
Freki
were
was
totally ready to
ushers
draw
the
your
children
blade after the
further
threat
away
was
from
already gone.
anger because she.
Hey, your brother, by the way. This is what we did with Holiday.
Nice.
And you
She's
looking
still
for a
embarrassed.
fucking treat from our boss for
No, it
doing
wasn't.
nothing.
No, it wasn't.
Oh yeah, you were preening when Lainath showed up.
I just said I didn't do
So
anything.
tell me about where you're from. Let's
No,
go
no,
over
no,
here.
She needs to see this.
Okay, she needs to see this.
You didn't think weapons needed to be drawn, but as soon as we
You
were
said
walking
you
out, you
got
summoned your axe to your hand and started feeling froggy and got deleted.
Meanwhile, Talia is like,
Cheese puffs, please.
This is still. Let's tell her. If I have to watch.
No, this is your new gnome captain.
Yes.
yes,
Ah,
bro.
I love her already.
And there's bananas. Always bananas.
All I want is some solidarity, and I want to be able to help people that don't want to sit in a jail cell when they don't want to sit in a jail cell when they're innocent. I was just following orders too until an innocent person did not want to sit behind bars.
Still made it matter.
Has anybody told me this kid's name? Okay, so I just know him as Kid.
I might have dropped the name.
They
of
keep
Paul
saying
during
the
the
name Paul.
Okay. But I don't know that they're specifically referring to this.
You could infer that.
Okay.
You were following orders because they were convenient. You brush orders aside all the time when it's convenient for you.
I haven't yet. I've been doing everything.
You constantly talk about how nobody's your boss.
Yeah,
About
I
how
know.
you're only part time with
called-
the order and you're
it's
out doing
called-
assassination missions and training bears all the time.
It's called puffing. Yeah, you gotta look like a badass. You gotta act like a badass, but you still follow orders.
You're still just saying that because it's convenient.
Okay. What's your problem? Not mine.
No, it was Ball's problem, and I'm pissed that neither of you stepped in to help him.
No.
And that I didn't
You
get any
didn't
backup,
get-
and I had to draw a weapon in order to help somebody out.
You didn't give us a chance to.
No, I asked you to. I said, give me backup here.
After
and
you
you
acted.
stared at me.
After you had already acted. If you want solidarity,
Pray to a god.
no.
I did. She
Bring
told me
us-
to do that.
Bring us in.
The Rose Warden defends people that don't want to sit behind bars. That is what my god does.
It wasn't changing anything. I'd do it again.
So, what exactly in the
We could
fuck happened?
less
Silas
impulsive.
drew a guard's blade on him.
Yep.
Because
I'm assuming that we're like standing back, so you guys are like
Mhm.
arguing over there. Well, I
Because-
was like, what the fuck is going on?
when we arrived back to the city the first time, we were very unexpected and we were strangers.
But we flew in.
I was escorted to be to speak with a captain, as I was declared as the leader, as I am. They were taken their separate ways. I spoke with the captain, everything was fine. I came back to see Silas holding his sword at the guards. Vanessa and Lynn watching, and Vol panicking. Oh, crisis.
Oh my gosh. No, you squished the cake.
Not the cake though.
Not the cake though. Anything but the cake.
I didn't see the kid under the Christmas lens.
I ordered Silas to drop the weapon. The captain ordered the guards to stand down, and we left in peace. It seems that the three of them couldn't come to an agreement upon action. When the circumstance arrived on them,
Didn't arrive an agreement upon action when somebody acted.
I asked for backup before.
We're having a
weapon was
quiet
drawn.
discussion while you three are arguing.
Yeah.
Then I will point that out. I asked for backup before a weapon was drawn.
You asked me to attack guards.
I did not ask you to attack anybody.
What did you do?
I asked for backup. I said, we're not going into that cell. And you guys decided not to defend the panicking child because you were following orders. Fuck those orders. And Silas will leave the room.
Yeah.
He'll Cora.
Cora!
Probably.
Oh my god!
Want
Is
to
this-
so we can yell at you?
We all need to come to an understanding and agreement with each other. Or we're going to get caught in a scenario that's going to pick us off one by one because we can't even come to any sort of remote cohesiveness. Sure, we're fine in a fight 99% of the time, but what about that 1% where our minor grievances get in the way and one of us falls and we can't get them back up? We can't go on like this.
Didn't tell you what to do.
So we're going to have to figure something out.
I'm sorry, I got loud. You were acting. I was just really into it.
As RP, no one is pissed at each other.
Yeah, no one's actually pissed. I was just really into it.
When you put a pin in that, and it's been waiting for a while, and it's just been brewing inside of him.
Oh, yeah.
As some of your onlook, like the other two members of your company,
Freki's like-
Ashna and Danik are not sure how to react to this. It's much more apparent on Danik's face. Ashna is still just blank, as she always is.
Meanwhile, Freki's like, maybe I shouldn't have agreed to come with these people. Wow. Whoa, what family drama did I jump into?
Which, after that a little bit, since, yeah, we can do a little bit more RP, that's fine. Ashna, who is able to move around a bit more, mainly inside the ship. She can't really go outside, because the higher you get,
But it's still pretty shy.
it gets colder. But inside, she's okay. She would find you eventually.
Mhm.
And you are the cleric who assisted me, yes?
Yes, yes. You may call me Freki, my dear.
Freki. I am called Ashna.
It is good to meet you. Finally, in person, conscious.
Now that I'm in my... You met her, you actually did meet her before, we RP'd your character, but she was kind of out of it.
Okay.
So now that I'm in my right state of mind, I thank you for what you've done.
It is nothing you should thank me for, darling.
I am told
It is merely what I was
appropriate
put
to
on
do
this
so,
earth to do.
as you're saying.
I like how she's composed most of the time, and then she's like, what in the fuck is going on?
Well, you missed it. Out-of-game knowledge is part of her composure is that there's belief that she may actually be a Yonti.
Mm-hmm.
And Yonti do not feel emotion the same way most humanoids do.
Yeah. This is important for her. But I was speaking more of Freki, like she's so put together in most conversations.
I always want to know about the bears.
Hmm?
You always want to know about
That was the
the bears.
rumor that I had from you.
Yeah,
Otherwise, as she does talk to you, you do like her eyes do drift to the boy who you've heard called Lol.
Mhm.
And with your
Let's see
insight,
one passive.
well, this is more insight.
Yeah.
Like there's a hint of recognition there, but she's not certain of it.
Mm-hmm.
And but otherwise, she leaves. She leaves you be. She is mostly quiet. She keeps to herself a lot.
Yeah. And I filed that away for later. That like the do I know you? Do I not know you?
Mm.
Kind of thing. Because I don't know who the fuck this kid is.
I'm going to.
I curse a lot.
I'm gonna approach Silence's sister and just sort of kind of broach the hi.
He's like, or you can just talk to her.
I'm sure we've come to a bit of understanding over the past couple days about the state of our ward. Is there a way that you could probe his thoughts the same way that you?
I could try, certainly.
That might, even if his grasp of language isn't there, maybe you can gain or glean some insight to his thoughts and his
Yes, I'll
emotions.
I've prepared the spell again in case I was asked. Or something. I don't really know how to be that useful to you all yet, so learning. She will find wherever the boy is.
Probably with Freki and her daughter. I imagine
Your daughter's a little confused because here's this kid who's older than her but acts younger than her.
And Freki's just like, don't be ableist.
Don't judge.
Don't judge. But no, I imagine that Freki's basically taken him under her wing because she's the best equipped to
She's the
watch
character.
after him. Yeah.
As Tella comes in and kind of sits with the group, assumingly like on the floor or wherever. And just kind of done, just casually, she mutters a spell after talking just for a little bit. Not a harmful one, obviously. You've seen her do this before.
Yeah, I know what she's doing, and I'm not entirely okay with it, but I'm going to allow it because she's definitely been told to go do this.
She focuses for a few moments. You see her brow kind of scrunch up a little bit. And she's focusing really hard on this.
Mm-hmm.
After maybe about a minute, she stops, kind of a bit concerned, and she just kind of gets up. Not backs away, like she's not afraid, but something is amiss. Would you have gone into the room? Or?
Yeah, I kind of imagine myself kind of just standing kind of in the doorway, like watching.
The child does not have thoughts.
What does that mean?
His mind is gone. It's not there.
So he's acting purely on instinct?
Instincts.
Interesting. Unfortunate.
I've heard of such magics before. It's a strong affliction to have set upon you. It's one that is difficult to break.
Called feeble mind, correct?
Yes. One that is seen as a terror to any who invoke arcane magic through study, especially. But it is equally detrimental to those who are inborn with it. I.e., it reduces your intelligence and charisma to a 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there a way to fix that?
Powerful magic.
Yeah.
Greater restoration, heal, wish.
So either greater restoration or heal.
Mostly, yeah.
Wish.
Kind of thing that we could probably find if we make it to our city.
If you make it to any large city, you can probably get it.
Oh.
The question will be affording it.
Yeah.
Well,
Or finding somebody that just owes him that big of a favor.
Before finding someone that wants him dead?
Yeah, that'd be a real challenge.
Yeah.
so we should
Oh,
probably...
I should probably tell you.
What?
Well, Lynn's the only one.
Oh wait, I'm sulking. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sulking, sorry.
He's
Yeah,
probably
sulking.
Lynn is the only one in the room with me and Tell, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
if
I'm
someone
not.
else really wants to be there, I'm not going to say no.
Nope, I'm not there.
I imagine I'm drinking some ship rum. If there's ship rum.
There's ship rum. There's ship rum and there's ship
Preparing to
wine.
go talk to a sulking Silas at some
Are
point.
there skylines? I'm kind of skylines. Yeah,
Okay.
the
Well, in that
Drow
case-
sky scurvy.
I know
They
that
do bring fruit and such.
so far, Chela has shown herself to be trustworthy enough, so I'm going to tell her to watch after Talia and Ball for a little bit.
Sure.
Just make sure that they don't get into any trouble.
As with this almost like childlike glee, she starts playing with your daughter.
Fabulous. This is good.
As she's kind of keeping herself in the her spring mentality. What you're seeing is very childlike and playful.
Yeah, that's good. Just make sure that the boy doesn't wander. He doesn't tend to do that.
All right.
And if he begins to cry, just call me and I'll come and take care of it. Because I imagine that's basically what he does.
I do have younger siblings.
Oh, fabulous. Good.
I have more siblings.
You're gonna find so many.
So
Oh my
many
God.
babies.
You're all sulking somewhere.
No,
though, so.
I
You
know.
just said that casually.
Different mom says, just
Yeah.
crush your dreams.
Oh,
So
you already pissed him off.
Oh.
I will say out of
You're
game.
part of that too.
No,
Yeah.
Dad may have had a tryst. Dad had a wife.
Mm.
Damn.
I'm the Jon Snow.
Except for very much like with your mother, they didn't care. They were elves.
Yeah.
Oh, you slept with a human girl?
Whatever.
Okay, she's pregnant. That's a worry. Okay, it's sorted? Okay. Go kill evil giants.
So,
That's kind of more
So
important.
anyway, I take Lynn aside, and I mentioned that Ashna may recognize the boy. Is this something that I should know about? Is she a relative? Is she...
You've actually, because you were here, we kind of RP'd, you were the one treating Ashna, so you know.
I know that she's cold-blooded, so that's
She's
why I'm
cold-blooded,
confused.
she has snake-like scales.
Yeah,
Like, she is not human, whatever
Yeah.
she is. The boy is very human.
yeah,
Not that that's necessarily a block of relations, but
yeah. Like, is she like a cousin or something?
as far as I know, there's no relation between the two.
I am just wondering if perhaps she knows his family.
Lynn has next to no idea.
Because
So
if we
much
find
fun.
his family, that would be probably pretty good for him, right? Nope.
No.
he's got a nephew somewhere.
I love playing this game.
Uh,
He has tons of nieces and nephews somewhere.
Yes, nieces, a bunch of nieces and nephews, yeah.
Somewhere.
Probably over in Southend.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, his bloodline continued.
Maybe.
Rashna and Tanya had biological
Lynn is just
kids.
going to try to shut this.
They
Try
had
No,
like
he didn't.
They adopted.
they
Tanya
adopted
couldn't.
everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Tanya
Right.
couldn't give birth.
No, it was the fact
She
that they
got
had three
Daniel.
normal,
Yeah.
like non-adventuring.
Yeah, she had non-adventuring children,
That's
but they were
right.
all adopted.
He is the like.
Wilhelm was
they're
Roscoe's
He is the
biological
last.
child.
He is the last of his bloodline. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, because he has no relation like him.
Yeah.
Lynn is just going to try to shut this conversation down and just be like,
Like, Lynn doesn't really know.
Lynn doesn't really know, and she's like, what she does know kind of makes her uncomfortable. So
Like Freki has.
I'm just
Freki
waiting for
has-
Lynn to be like, go tell Lainath about it.
yeah,
Freki has zero context
Go-
for this. She just wants to find this kid's
Go make
family.
him make another decision.
You know-
You don't need to get
I don't wanna
questions.
talk
You
about
should
it.
just talk to Lena.
I don't like thinking about things. Making choices of my own.
I'm assuming he's from your city.
that's my understanding. We should go talk to Lainath.
I probably would know his family, wouldn't she? Wouldn't
You probably know more about this than I do.
you? You went out there to yell. The kitchen is now the fucking yelling room.
Are there any more angry orchards left?
One.
Mine. Exactly one.
Could I have any Werther's, please?
Werther's?
Yes.
You get a less sweet.
Unless we.
Can I try some of that?
Yeah.
Sweet fruit?
I just got the combo pack.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of curious myself.
Are we doing the pass around? Because now I'm curious.
Let's go for it.
I feel like if
I
we,
feel like it's
if
just
we,
like sugar-free
if this
beer.
game session continues, we need to go out and get some alcohols. Whatever.
I gotta work tomorrow, and it's already nearly midnight.
Yeah, it's not gonna go too much farther than what you guys
Yeah,
do.
I
Gotta
got
eat.
a 13-hour shift tomorrow.
You don't have to work tomorrow. We can party.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to work tomorrow.
I don't know.
We can party. You can party.
Yeah. Josh,
You don't have to work tomorrow.
I know I do.
Okay. Well,
you've got it right, but
Yeah, that's work.
3 of us don't have to work tomorrow.
Here you go, Josh. You can try it.
They're saying that you said you're on the schedule.
I'm just.
Yes.
I know it's hard
You don't
for
have
you
to
to
get up early.
No,
to-
I
but-
do not.
and you
But
know what they
you
say:
just get
right drunk, edit sober.
Not for a novel.
Oh my god.
It's great for poetry.
So, he just said we should find Lainath.
Lainath is pre-gaming for a conversation with Silas.
Like, alright.
You're just
Fucking
getting
deal with
you're just
this.
getting yourself psyched up. You're just like.
And it's like, alright, you know what? I should play
Just pounding, face slapping.
For those that didn't see it, Barta just slapped himself in the face after pounding his chest. And it was great.
Now he's turning so red, I'm afraid he's gonna die.
Don't die.
He does this.
Don't do it. You have so much to live
So,
for.
yeah, Lena's like sitting somewhere with like a mug or cup of something.
Just blame them.
Potentially
It'll be
strong.
easier that way.
Yeah.
I'll just tell him he's right, and I'll blame them.
Whatever Ro has given me access to.
Lynn,
She's like, paid for my services, not my alcohol.
I will pay you for your alcohol right now.
Excellent.
But you can't have my skylines.
and here's a flat.
So,
Let's start tab.
Yeah. So Lynn told me that I should come and speak with you.
Did she now? About
Uh,
about what exactly?
The child.
What's my problem now?
The child, Ball.
Oh,
He's always a problem.
what happened? Did something happen with Ball?
No, nothing happened.
Oh,
I just. I
Wanted
had
to see if he could
noticed.
fly.
I had noticed.
that. Jesus Christ!
What?
She said that she wanted to see if he could fly.
Oh no! Shit!
Just gotta believe.
Fucking jumps
Okay,
overboard.
but here's how I imagine that. Like Freki casually comes in and says, "Oh, Lynn said I should come and
You
speak
can't
with
think
you."
any thoughts, let alone happy
I
thoughts.
just over the side. It was about 10 minutes ago. I believe I can fly.
Jesus Christ.
Poor little fucker.
That's the point where Lena's like, you know what, Dad? Let's do it. Fuck it. I'm fucking done.
So Lynn said that I should come and speak with you. I had noticed that your friend Ashna may have potentially recognized Ball.
Oh.
There was at least a flicker of recognition. I don't remember your name, but I may have passed you in the street. And I was concerned about whether she may or may not know his family. I feel like this would be beneficial to him, to get him back to his family.
Get on the airship, they said. Quiet flight, they said.
If
Lainath is choking on his like rum. He's like,
no, that was him like listening, like he was waiting, listening. You said what you said, and he's just like. That's fine. It should be fine.
somehow the implication that I have received, both from Lynn and yourself, in your body language and your behavior with my 21 passive perception, has indicated everything but fine.
He's from the city,
All right.
meaning anyone useful to find in regards to him and his current state would also potentially either be in the city or scattered to who knows where.
Yes.
So,
However, to return him to his family proper, I do believe that somebody who is familiar with them would be useful. I'm assuming your city is a large one.
it is a large city, yes. Yes.
You can't possibly know everyone in your city.
No, I don't know everyone in the city.
But you do know him,
Yes.
says my passive perception.
Such a passive insight, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we know him.
Okay. Well, my concerns are abated then. I was going to question Ashna more, but I didn't really want to embarrass her.
Oh, she might have a hard time recognizing him due to his state. The magic's on him.
Yes. That is a bit concerning. Who would do that, such a thing to a child?
You never know. I mean, we just caught a man who was willing to start a war for, what, a gem?
That he wasn't even sure that his queen would want.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
People do terrible things, not necessarily for any discernible clear motive.
Something, watch the world burn.
Can I roll sense motive?
Insight, yeah.
Do I have to roll like deception or persuasion?
What are you trying to discern?
I'm trying to figure out if Lainath is purposely keeping things from me, because Freki doesn't like that.
That would be deception.
Oh.
I got a 14.
And that
And
would
dance
be
with bears.
perception or insight?
Oh, insight.
Insight, okay.
Sounds dangerous.
That would be... God, my passive is 16.
You ever dance the devil in
Yeah.
Stone Moonlight?
But
No,
I rolled
bears.
an 11.
So, you can't really tell if Lainath is holding back information or not.
Freki will remember this. And if she finds out that you are purposely keeping things that are
Vanessa's
very
gonna find
fucking important from her,
Vanessa's gonna go
she'll
find
be
you.
very upset later.
Okay.
She's just like, let's hug
Now
it out.
imagine
Let's hug it out.
Paul gets better and
I don't
finds
know
out
if I
that I was
trust
just
this hug.
blabbing about him to some stranger.
You can roll. You can roll.
I'm
You're
more
just
okay
gonna
with
hug it
Freki being upset with me
Sneak
than
sleep.
Paul being upset
What?
with me.
Snake sleep.
And while this is okay, while out of
Vanessa,
character,
are
I
you-
am willing to deal with the
If we hug it,
consequences
it
of
would
an
feel
upset
better.
Freki.
Come on.
I can't deal with the
Vanessa.
consequences of an upset Paul.
You have not shown, like, you don't even know why I'm mad.
Hug it out. Come on.
I swear to God. I swear to God.
are we witnesses
No.
to this? Okay.
No.
Okay,
No.
cool. We're
He's,
like
he's off sulking and she just went and found him.
Yeah.
Man, I got an insight of a 13. What the hell is your deal?
Just let's hug it out. I always know hugs make everything better.
This is not a genuine hug.
Oh no, it is a genuine hug. It'll make everything feel better.
So your insight is telling you that she thinks hugs will just make the problem go away.
That's not how this works.
Oh, don't trust me. My family, this is always how it works. Come on, let's do it.
You know that
You have to give her
Just
some
remember.
Did the gnome give you something?
No, don't give me something. This is great.
May I have a bit of
Just
that?
remember what,
Yeah.
Mr. GM?
What?
You said just remember.
So just
Yeah,
remember,
that's good.
Daytech bought Leia statue.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that statue. I can barely remember it, but
So,
I remember how angry my mother was.
I'll agree to hug you if you agree that you fucked up.
let's hug it and see where the hug goes.
No, that's my turn.
We gotta see how we feel in that
You know
moment.
that emotional intelligence.
You know,
test
it's
that
the
they get for,
moment.
like, they
It'll
get
mean
for
more
kids or
true if
whatever.
the hug is
Or is it
there
just a
and we
picture
just
of a
really
cat?
get the.
God damn.
Wow.
What?
Said, you know the emotional intelligence they give to like middle schoolers and such? Hers is just a picture of a cat.
Are you accepting the hug or no?
Not really, no.
So you might be hugging him, but he's just kind of standing.
He's not gonna accept the hug. I'm not gonna hug back.
Okay.
She does not hug without consent.
See,
Okay.
there has to be a hug, and then
I couldn't tell by that. Like that felt like
no,
a
no,
maybe
no.
like, come here.
no. That's why I was doing this.
Okay.
He's bring it in. That was my bring it in
That's the
motion.
brain.
Hugs
Because
only with consent.
this hug feels like really condescending to me.
No, it's not. It was a genuine hug.
Yeah, a genuine hug without any.
You hug, and then while you're in the embrace, you have the deep talk.
Where you whisper something horrible.
We're talking well enough.
No, you
From
gotta do it in
here.
the hug. That's where the where you
safety.
get the safety.
I'm just
you're,
not
you know,
really
it's a
feeling
safe
the
zone.
physical
I don't know,
contact
like
right
leans
now.
in, hugs you, and is like,
Well, I tried to work it out. Doesn't
No,
go away.
Good for
you
you.
tried to hug. You didn't try to actually work anything
and
out.
that's when you smell
You
it.
would never know unless you embrace the hug. I mean,
I'm attracted to you.
Those
Walk
aren't terms
off.
that I agree to. I'd rather be angry. Thank you.
alright,
Alright.
I tried.
That
I
sounds
walked
like a
away.
you problem.
Yeah, it does.
It's supposed to be a me problem.
I'm gonna walk by you and go, I tried. Just keep on walking.
Should we be concerned?
How much do I have left? Just fucking.
Vanessa
said
like,
she
Lainath-
tried, I gotta fucking
Lainath-
down this.
Lainath is half a bottle. And Freki says, should we be concerned? And Lainath looks at the bottle and says, yes.
I'm
There's
gonna
only
need more
half
of
of this left.
Is this another hugogram?
No. Jesus. Doesn't even exist in this world.
Vanessa just tried to come on in.
I feel like you've experienced the hug where you talk it out, you both apologize to each other.
I feel like
it's a
you've at
safe
least
zone.
tried that. Like,
It's just like one of those things where like somebody forces you to shake hands. It's just like they're eliminating the third party from that. Like, come on, let's get along.
It's a genuine hug.
Shake hands. Shake hands.
I heard Vanessa tried.
She tried to give me a hug, which I guess is better than a backhanded apology. I guess.
Are you going to be alright?
I'm gonna be fine.
Okay, that's good. Has anything come of the discussion? I'll call it. Hug.
Catharsis eventually, maybe. What are you thinking?
He doesn't say anything. He just hands it to you.
I come bearing beer.
It's pretty cheap stuff.
The rule back at camp is that if you have to ask what's in somebody's bottle, you have to drink twice.
Real life Bellegarth rules.
No. I don't get convicted. I don't possess a lot of conviction. You might have noticed that. But it seems like whenever I do, I end up by myself.
The odd man out. Yeah. Not wrong. Always seem to pick odd times to take a stand, I think.
Kids freaking out about going into a jail cell.
My problem doesn't lie with your convictions. My problem lies with how that could have turned out. Sure. He was panicking. He was unreasonable. He was losing his shit, really.
Yeah.
To be frank. You drawing a weapon on the guards could have ended far worse than a panic attack.
It escalated. But is it that, or would you rather the guards have had to beat him unconscious to get him to go into that cell?
I would have rather the three of you work together to try and subdue him into the cell for the moment he would have had to be in there. Try to rationalize and calm him as you could, rather than escalate a situation to violence, which could have gotten him caught in the crossfire.
Possible. But among three people, one person did anything. The other two just stood there and watched.
I only hope they would have intervened if the guards actually did try to force themselves onto the...
Luckily, they only tried to force themselves onto me.
You put yourself in that situation.
It deflected the danger to somebody that was more capable of handling it.
As far as you know.
I was doing okay.
Let me.
Besides, you swept in and saved the day like always.
Whoosh.
Yes.
Ironically, that's when the day tech levels suck up.
No, there was an edge of spite to it.
That wasn't sucking up. That was being a dick. It was different.
Insubordination.
Thank you for recognizing that it was being a dick. I was going for the be the dick.
No, I got it.
Okay. No, I'll get over it like I always do. It's fine.
I know you say that. I know you don't mean it.
Besides, I've been a contributing member of this group this whole time, and I've been angry about this since it happened.
I know you can do your job. I know everyone can do their jobs. I'm just worried about what this is doing to everyone outside of life and death scenarios. I wish we were more functional when our lives weren't on the line, you know? And I don't really know what to do about that. I can't exactly make everyone be friends.
No, but we can constantly put ourselves in danger.
That's a terrible way to live. Says the soldier.
Yeah. I was like,
War is hell.
no. We'll find the city. Everything's gonna be fine.
No, you got a sister.
Yeah, I'm still working on that.
Yeah, I was wondering how you were feeling about that.
Well, it seemed like the one good thing to actually happen in all of this. Hell,
Glad you're taking it positively. I feel more concerned.
about what?
A random family member showing up with a clue that you need from a father you haven't heard from in several decades. Maybe that's just me, but that would be very concerning from my viewpoint. We have very different fathers, so.
Maybe I was just treating it as any port in a storm. Hell, every clue that we'd followed before just led to another question. We thought we were going to find a city, and instead we find...
Still don't know how to fix that with the resources we have. That'll probably give us a lot of answers.
Insert the line where I mentioned finding somebody that owes him a favor, and you mentioned doing that before we find somebody that wants him dead.
Yeah.
Since I wasn't technically in the room when we had that exchange, now it's canon.
Yep. Because, I mean, I didn't actually know him well. I just know he was powerful enough to have people that wanted to kill him. Anyone powerful enough has people that want them dead.
Mm-hmm. Nobody gets a statue made of them without being some kind of asshole.
No,
I believe is the line.
Yeah.
no,
I'm
Firefly did.
Go back to Daytech statue.
He made that himself.
He did. He designed it and everything. He was really proud of that statue. He thought it was.
Fair. Vol has
good
outlived
idea.
most of his enemies.
And some of his statues.
It's a war of attrition.
Some of them enemies gotta be also immortal. And or
A couple of them are gods.
Yeah,
Oh my
gods.
God.
A couple of them are statues.
That's because they killed them.
That was his favorite method. Petrification. Fun fact. I just don't want you to feel like you have to bottle shit up.
Well, I do when there's threats coming from every other side. You might notice that I didn't actually say anything until we were apparently safe on an airship. Couldn't let that last for long.
Then you said something in front of everyone.
That was probably a bad move.
That was definitely a bad move. Now this captain and her crew know that we are as dysfunctional as we are.
Also Freki.
And also. And you also probably spooked the hell out of Dennick and Ashna.
It's gonna be a fun year.
I think I'm gonna go find one.
I feel like this is the moment where you get to see like the whole recap of the whole season. You know what I mean? They always show you little snippets.
This is
of
the
whole
flashback
season.
episode. It's me and Silas getting drunk. Being like, I wish we didn't all hate each other.
And then you fast forward to like 4 weeks later, we're all like doing something
I
weird.
don't know how to make people like each other.
For dramatic effect, somewhere else on the airship, where Tella is entertaining the boy and Talia. From the doorway, Ashna is watching this. She's watching the boy. And one hand grips the pommel of one of her swords very tightly. Fade to black.
Da da da. That was some good role playing, guys.
Yeah.
I think we all had fun.
That is where we will end, as opposed to when I said that like an hour ago.
Well,
But-
I was like,
No,
okay.
I'm not gonna take away from roleplay. You guys want to do it? That's fine. That's perfect with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
We are gonna
Stop
We're
the
on another
recording.
trend.
Alright.
Thanks for listening. Back next week. Leah will be joining us again for the continuation of this story
Yeah, we're gonna see where this ride takes us.
as we begin Act 2.